It's live.
Those guys, they don't want to see you last. They take a few $1 million above your tax. A tub full of money, I still can't relax. Time spinning, Lord forgive me, I'm a sinner. Conquer the 5 niggas. Wrong side of the petition, only divine women. Better listen when I tell you how I put time in it. Please forgive me, God did. So leave me in the dark, swimming with the sharks. Dope boy, big car, still the biggest boss. Got a kilo on the plate, sitting on the freight. Or I could go and buy a bank, I know my money's safe. They count inside. They didn't think that we were making more. They didn't even up. Oh, but I know God did. Oh, let's see. They was tired of me winning, now they dead sleep. Don't want to see me with the ring, you better play D. Nigga, God did his thing when he made me. With the eyes stacked against me, I could crack the bitch. I know only got the judges, I say that for prison. They smell blood like a shark, they start acting fishy. Well, I'm gonna have that gas, and they gonna have to kiss me. Please don't hate me, just to hate me. Before they overrate me, they gon' underestimate me. Funeral and wake me, bury me, and excavate me. But I'm so cultivating, everybody replicate me. Nigga, face facts, dreadlocks, face tats, I'm the apex. I made the culture when I'm twin, every day back. I fucked the world and what I did, I like the same sex. I prayed more and said, let's God get the rest. They counted the shots. They didn't think that we were making it. It breaks my heart. Where we at, Goon? Where we at, Goon? Hold it. Please don't forgive me for what the stove did. Nobody touched the Billy until Hope did. How many billionaires can come from Hope crib? I count 3, me, and Riis. Bronze and rock boy, so 4 technically. I left the dope game with my record clean. I turned the cocaine into champagne. I cleaned up La Madrina with the same soap. Me and Loro talk about how we slang dope. Now the weed stores, can you believe this top? I put my hustle on the Forbes, can you believe this guy? Then we said, fuck it, took the dope public. Out the mud, they got a
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Mace Jackson, live in the studio. That's right, we are getting ready.
Nah, we just corner boys with the corner office.
That one.
I'm at the cap table, what the splits is. Not that cap table, boy, we live this. Breezy, what the business is. We push 50 like fentanyl. Shit is all legitimate. He was down 10 for this. We just got his 10 back and went back like where the entrance is. M light up the 03. Good y'all do the size, OG for the OGs. Some of you niggas out of pocket talking exotic. Barely been it up a hump. That's another topic. Monogram in my pocket off the red carpet. You see the face I made that night, shit is that shocking. Ours was great, we even be alive. Gotta be crazy to y'all niggas. used to play with life. I'm now careful with the sentences. Them only jail bars of life. I never wanted to be the state's custodian. The laws are draconian. Those married to the life is holy matrimony. Somehow I outfox every box and try to throw me in. With great ceremony in. Folk in them told me how Holly Caddy spoke of him. And bloke in them from London. Harrow Road, Western End. I be speaking to the souls of men. Those of them willing to die for the existence that the cold world is.
Everywhere you go, there's turning left and right. Can't say you a dime, you're a 20-piece. Cause girl, you're the reason I be acting funny. Everything in me telling me don't let you get away. And all the guys looking like they wanna love you.
I don't say he definitely did it, but I think there are other people who set this thing up that way. I'll be very honest.
Like who, for example?
Huh? Like, I thought you'd gone over that. What you
No, man, when I hear that's funny. Take care, man.
Oh, wow. I see you, Charlie.
I don't know. I don't have any idea.
She went to Hyde. That's Charlie's daughter. She went to Hyde Park with us, too, but you didn't know that. Charlie Hayes' daughter. Barbara, I'll talk to you later.
Then Charlie, you keep talking like that, I'm gonna come on over there.
Very important to us, and for people to say that Congressman Hayes is too old, that's asinine. When you got white men who've been sitting there on top of money for years and years and years, not doing anything, not delivering anything to their constituency. So as a younger activist, I must say that we are in a position right now to say to the world and to say to the white people and other interest groups that want to determine our leadership that we're not going to let this happen. It's a question of self-determination. It's a question of African people in America deciding their own destiny. I went to the hospital night before last as a representative of my organization to witness what allegedly happened with Mel Reynolds. And if Mel Reynolds was actually shot by somebody, then I'm nuts. As someone who's been in the military, it was obvious that this was a setup. It was obvious that it was orchestration. It was obvious that Mayor Daley's forces were involved. His chief operative, Ruthie was president, and many of the people from Mayor Daley's office were present that night at the hospital. So we cannot be fooled by these. This is a tactic of desperation. This is a desperation attempt to put out of Congress one of the most vocal and leading black independent politicians left in the United States who came out of the late 1940s, emerged in the 1950s, stayed on the case in the 1960s when it was not popular in this city to go against the machine. A man that single-handedly made the Emmett Till case famous throughout America through his journalism. So Mel Reynolds, he's got to go. Well, people like that, we should run them back to the Kennedy family in Boston, let them work there or in other places where they can just leave our community alone, because Mel Reynolds is actually an enemy of the development of African-American political empowerment. And I got to run back up in here.
Thank you. The light is right. Great. Black politics.
With the silence of the pros and cons here in this particular issue of Gus Savage being challenged by Mel Reynolds, I think the whole nation would miss the point if they didn't understand the resentment against people who do not live in the community trying to punish a long-time veteran civil rights activist such as Gus Savage. Gus Savage is considered irascible, extremely outspoken, but he has produced and stood tall for his people, and I think he may represent a deeper resentment of the masses when he objects to people trying to finance his expulsion from Congress. When I say people trying to finance it, I mean people who have a single issue concept of politics.
What about this matter of Jews, right? All this stuff, you know? Well,
it's no secret that a group called AIPAC, AIPAC, the American Israeli Political Action Committee, is putting up most of the money for his opponent, Mel Reynolds. And Gus is known to have voted and made several statements critical of Jewish activity in South Africa, and he also objects to spending money on foreign housing when he has housing in his own district that's boarded up. And he's a very volatile speaker, and in many ways this is what has made him very popular with a segment of black society who may be disenchanted with the silence of black leaders generally.
Why are they so silent? Why have black leaders become so non-confrontational?
Well, black leaders have been a bit too silent, a little too coy, a little too cautious for large numbers of people. And when you have a man like Gus who will take a strong stand and apparently is not afraid to challenge even the most obstinate of white people, the large numbers of black people like it, let's face it. This may be very difficult for people who don't understand the climate out here, but it's a fact. They want somebody that they feel will stand up in their behalf, regardless of how much he irritates segments of the white community.
And to what degree does the political climate here in Chicago reflect the rest of the nation?
That I don't know. Okay. I am
okay, two questions. Hayes rush race and
they see a similar situation there too. Here's Charles Hayes that cannot be accused of being volatile. He's a very calm veteran civil rights leader, long time in the labor movement, has a high attendance record, and like Gus Savage, all of the independent progressive organizations have rated him, their voting records very high, but they're trying to knock him off too. And the reason they feel, black people feel that they're trying to get rid of Charlie Hayes is because he is in the way of plans to redevelop the near south side of Chicago, which is on the lakefront. A part of his district is on the lakefront, and there's a feeling that there are land developers who want to grab that land and gentrify it and move black people out and make it the home for many of the whites from the suburbs who left because of black people coming into their communities. I think the Hayes candidacy gives a lie to those who say that the reason we want to get rid of Gus Savage is because he's loud and vociferous. Hayes is just the opposite, and yet there is opposition to him too. And he's a veteran legislator with an excellent record.
Last question. Redistricting. Has it had an effect on black politics in Chicago?
It will have when the message sinks in that black people are being cut short of the number of wards that they should have in terms of higher representation than whites. Blacks are now the single largest ethnic group in the city of Chicago, but they don't have the most seats in the city council. And this new map would give them as many seats as whites have, and that's the difference in the two maps.
Latest edition. Read it all in the Final Call News right here today. Minister Louis Farrakhan.
People, let's hear it. What's in it for the black people? Don't fear it. For the black people. 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 What's in it for the black people? You know it. What's in it for the black people? Let's show it. What's in it for the black people? You know it. What's in it for the black people? Let's show it. For the black people. For the black people.
WIIFTVPN.
Uh-oh, what's in it for the black people?
You are listening to the most dangerous show. This is What's in It for the Black People Radio. Maze Jackson. Maze Jackson, the most vociferous advocate for black people in the world.
For Ruthie Moore, for Ty Stroger, I am the host of the Maze Jackson Show, asking every single day, what's in it for the black people? And if you don't like it, you can still tell them Maze said, Mayor Lightfoot, man, we ain't accepting that. We ain't accepting that. Let's go. Yeah.
Let's get down to business and go ahead and address the facts. Man, Lightfoot seems more lesbian than black. Rahm Emanuel's another case. He was just as tired. 50 closed schools left much to be desired. Police had Anjanette naked on that body cam. They suppressed the footage so it couldn't touch a lot of hands. Reminds me of that 16 shots in that cover up. Both of them similar, so I went and dug it up. George Floyd killed, a lot of riots happened in the town. Southside burned and they wouldn't let them bridges down. Grandmother sick, need a prescription and plus a couple groceries. You gon' have to travel just to get it now. COVID-19 out here shutting all the business down. Not enough SBA loans to even give around. So many failed businesses that you could put them in the pile. If you don't survive the pandemic, it's gonna sit you down. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. Shout out to Willie Wilson, hope one day you get to send it. We need some different players in the game to handle business. Too many shady characters like Madigan and Blago. But when you really break it down, it's typical Chicago. City full of gangsters, it's what the land was built on. Same streets with hood legends, DNA get spilled on. Carjackers out here lurking, trying to get they steal on. Looking for a block to put them Hellcat wheels on. Let us give bogus appraisals a red line. Car crackers out here getting minimal fair time. And up to seal carry, I stay with the pipe. But Illinois gun laws giving minimal rights. Stay up on the swivel, make sure I'm moving tight. Check all of my mirrors when I pull up to the light. Pick my homie up from out of town, man, he caught a flight. He was hella nervous, told him, shorty, this a way of life. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks.
Wake up, Chicago. Wake up, world. This is the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Right here on a Tuesday. That's right. We are blowing up on a Tuesday. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my man, DJ Riis, the rule on the ones and twos. And yes, y'all, it is a Tuesday. I don't know. They said now we got blocked because of Sony Music. I don't know what is going on. Now, at first they tell me I got music licensing. Now they telling me I'm acting up.
But what was Sony? We didn't even.
I don't know.
Say,
man.
I didn't even. I don't
know. I mean, that's what I was saying. It was weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. Was it Was it God did early? Maybe when I didn't switch. I don't know, but it was on the anyway. It's the Maze Jackson Show. If you are tuned in and you was on the Facebook Live and then you are wondering what's going on, we back live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. This is the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Yeah, no more screaming. I'm trying to, I'm modulating my screaming. I can't scream all the time because it's not effective. So I gotta talk slow. I gotta talk low. You know how when the teacher be talking and they be talking like this and then they go like this and then everybody keep getting quieter and quieter because you're trying to hear. So you tune in, then you come back out and then you talk up. So it is the Maze Jackson Show on a Tuesday. Man, I don't feel blowing up-ish right now. But it's still Tuesday. Now, I ain't gonna be in the club. But you know what? Before it's over, I'm gonna blow this joint up. So, Riis, it is Tuesday, so we're gonna be blowing up on the Tuesday in the building. This is the Maze Jackson Show. My barber has been acting up. Well, let me not say acting up, because he cut me on Sunday, he cut me on Monday, he cut me whatever day. But he took a day off, and I was kind of feeling the same way. JB, did you get your shirt? Look. Ruth, see, Riis, every time you see Ruthie, you gotta be like, till that shirt go. You know, right when I start to talk smack about you, you gotta be like, put that shirt though. You just in that shirt. It is the Maze Jackson Show. I still didn't cash the check though. But the shirt's right here. It's like, why is the hardest thing in the world for me to do to mail a package? It is hard for me to. Man. It's hard for me to mail a package or go to the post office. You can give me a letter, bro. I will hold on to that letter for 2 years. I think I got letters for 2. I still have my mom's Christmas card. Mother's Day card. Because I didn't mail it. I was like, I'm going to see it. And every time I see it, I got it in the car, but I forget that it's in the car. But I sent her money, so hopefully. But Aunt Tennille, don't forget next time I'm in the car, I got the Mother's Day card. Even though hopefully it'll be before next Mother's Day. Look, and we got to get Houston together. Look, it's the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. What did you just do, Riis? Something just happened. I could hear something different. Anyway, whatever it is, it's like, I don't know if I went in the stereo. Or you must have put a filter on my voice so I could be like, yeah. Riis,
a little bit.
You turned it up. You bogus, dog. You trying to turn me up? You turned my treble up? You shady.
I turned the volume up so get it. That's why we was a little low, so I had to turn some stuff up.
All right, okay. Mr. Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my man DJ Riis the Ruler blowing up on a Tuesday. DJ Riis the Ruler, how you feeling today?
Blessed by the best. You already know the rest.
All right, Riis. Well, we blessed by the best. Okay, so you know why I'm not hollering? Did you see that video I just showed you?
Yeah, I was watching it. I was intense. I was sitting there watching it.
That was Dr. Conrad Worrell when he was a young whippersnapper. And Riis, I've come to my conclusion. And you know what, I'm gonna save this epiphany. Maybe I won't. But is it possible that we already missed our time? Like we already missed our turn? I'm going to talk about this a little bit later on today. I was going through the Chewie poll. In case you didn't know, that was Dr. Conrad Worrell and Vernon Jarrett. And Vernon Jarrett was talking about the ward remap process when black people were the undisputed champions of the city. When this was a majority minority city and it was majority black. Did you know that the Chicago used to be majority black?
Oh, yeah. And
the reality is, Riis, I'm going to liken this to, and you might get this, you might not. And I have a lot of comparisons to it. But the one is like, you ever go on a vacation and you be like, I'm going to do it tomorrow? I'm going to do it tomorrow. Like, you be like, you go on a vacation, you got to plan for excursions. You got to plan to go do all of this stuff. You plan to go out to dinner. Then, Riis, your cousin, you hang out with your cousin. And you hang out with your cousin. Now you in a beautiful city, you out, but you and your cousin be like, man, shoot, let's sit on the balcony. We could do it tomorrow. Then you and your cousin get up the next day because you're on vacation. You be like, your cousin be like, hey, man, we over. It's Friday. You ain't got no job. Before we go out here and go to the restaurant, before we go see the village, before we go ride the dirt bikes. Next thing you know, you be like, oh man. Cuz be like, Joe, man, we could just order room service. Chill out. Reach cuz will get you, then next day you look up and you one day away from time to go and you ain't did none of your excursions, you ain't went on none of your trips, and you be like, man, then you trying to hurry up and go, but you mad because you don't want to waste your last day. Cause you be in the car and on your trip, they take you to the, like when you go on your excursion on the day before you gotta go, then they take you think, okay, I'm gonna take a half day trip. But then the next thing they take you to all the shops and the tourist traps and everything else. And then you don't wind up getting back till you only got about an hour to go before it's time to go to dinner.
I did that in Punta Cana one time.
See? You know exactly what I'm talking about. I feel like we spent the 90s, 2000s, and 2010s when it was supposed to be our time. By the time Barack Obama got here, people were marching in the streets in the hundreds of thousands, and we had missed our time. They had us fighting each other, and now Riis, it's time to go. Everybody else got on the plane, went back. We the last ones here. Right? Like all your friends, they done went to all the parties. They done kicked it. They like, man, Joe, we blew. And we on the plane back like, dog, we missed it all. And now they talking about the new trip. But you got to go back to work because you done used up all your vacation. Riis, I think I might have missed my era. Like I really, like I might have to stop watching these videos because y'all might lose the Maze Jackson show before the mayor's election. Like, no, really. Do you think about this? Like, did you hear, dude? Like, okay, Riis, they was talking about 26 awards. We are now talking about 15. Keeping 15. We was the majority. We was supposed to have 26. And here I am talking about, man, we gotta say these 15 black words.
What happened?
You heard them say people got too passive. And then it's like, then for the black dude that's there, think about this. They used Bobby Rush and Mel Reynolds. They used the Panther. Like Riis, they be having us fighting against ourselves. Like we be so in the Matrix. You know damn well black people was like, we got to get rid of old racist Gus Savage because we need the Rhodes Scholar educated. And this whole thing that is coming to is this Chewie Garcia, Willie Wilson, this Chewie Garcia poll. The poll shows Willie Wilson in the top tier. But as somebody told me, in the top tier of favorability, likability, all of that stuff, Riis, as a matter of fact, and this all ties together today, Willie Wilson, according to Chewie's poll, favorability, Willie Wilson has a 49% favorability rate in the city of Chicago. But then when it comes to who will vote for him, he falls all the way down to 4. So he's got 49%, but then falls down to 13 likely to vote. And you know what that is? Educated black people. Once again, the education of the Negro leads to the miseducation of the Negro, which leads to us fighting ourselves. And Even as much as Willie Wilson has demonstrated that he has done for the whole city. But let's just talk about black people. Black people still, much as it be your own, as you say, Riis, it be your own people. But that's okay. Because I just have come to realize, dang, y'all got me hot. See? Let me take it back down a notch. So anyway, Riis, I was thinking about this all today. And so we're going to talk about it all a little bit later. I want to take a deep dive into the Chewie Garcia poll. Yes, it's funny because they kind of just straight dismiss Willie Wilson from the conversation. And the fact of the matter is, according to like the favorability, Willie Wilson is number 2. It actually goes Chewie Garcia, Willie Wilson.
But Chewie not running, right?
Pat Quint, huh?
I said Chewie not running.
Well, he's convincing us why he needs to be the guy. Lori Lightfoot is 47 and 47. Likability versus dislikability. Anyway, we're gonna talk about it all. I'll save it all. But the whole thing is, does Willie Wilson have a black problem? Ain't that some craziness? That is some crazy. And what's so crazy to me is, in spite of everything that Lori has proven to every Negro that she has come in contact with, black people still be like, but I ain't that nigga. It's the Maze Jackson Show. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to start it so early. That's why I got to keep it cool. Look, y'all, it's the Maze Jackson Show. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back after these messages with a little bit of some headlines, some social media question of the day, and then I even printed out the poll, all of the pages. Although I want to see the crosstabs, and I think it's still skewed, but it's funny to see who they talk about in the news and who they don't talk about. And, it's the Maze Jackson Show. So we'll be back after these messages.
The Maze Jackson Show. We'll be back after this break.
The Willie Wilson Foundation and Urban Field Operations is having the first voter registration program since Harold Washington, and we need volunteers. Call Coach Al if you would like to register people to vote. Call 773-431-4664. 773-431-4664. This is Senator Ricky Hennon. Register and vote.
Urban Field Operations.
Final Explosion Entertainment.
Blaze Thrift Store. Andre Smith. Eyes Associates. Midwest Coalition. This is Brother Earl C. Williams from Williams Youth Service.
Marshall Fountain Images Design.
This is Daryl Smith. Keith Harris.
Nashville Black Wall Street, Chicago.
Register and vote.
Hi, this is Dr. Willie Wilson. I need you to register and vote. Many people have lost their lives in order that we can have a right to vote. So please, register and vote.
Call 773-431-4664 or stop by 2946 West Madison. Register and vote.
Sesame Street Live, make your magic. Experience the fun. Join Elmo, Abby, and friends on an amazing journey filled with surprises and spectacular illusions. Discover the magic in everyday life when Sesame Street Live comes to your neighborhood. Coming to Rosemont Theater October 7th through 9th. Tickets on sale now. For show details, visit SesameStreetLive.com.
And now, traffic and weather.
Yo, who said devotion have to be sad? Yo, check this out. The Lord is my shepherd, shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restored my soul. God's gonna turn it around.
Come all the way with me.
Good morning. What's in it for the Black People Media family? The time is now 6:37 a.m. and I'm Reese the Ruler with your Chicagoland area traffic and weather report. As we head over to the Kennedy, overhead to the Loop will be 30 minutes. Outbound will be the same on the Edens. From Deerfield to the Exchange, 37 minutes. Outbound to Deerfield will be 39. On the Eisenhower, Thorndale to the Loop, 49 minutes. 31 minutes back out to Thorndale, while the Stevenson is 1 hour from I-355 to the Dan Ryan outbound, a half an hour. Let's head over to the Bishop Ford on the I-80 to the Dan Ryan, 48 minutes, 35 minutes to I-80, while the Dan Ryan is 18 minutes to the Loop, 11 minutes to 95th. On DuSable Drive, north and south, both ways are locked in at 8 minutes. Today's weather, it is currently 64 and mostly sunny. So today will be a hot one. Will be 90 degrees at the high, but a 63 as the low. I'm Riis the Ruler. Happy Tuesday, The Maze Jackson Show.
To the grave, from the grave. Glory to Gethsemane, they got doctor. Oh, got doctor to the grave, from the grave. Back to glory. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Come all the way with me. Don't leave me now. Come all the way with me. Oh, please. God's gonna turn it around. God's gonna turn it around.
You are listening to the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my man DJ Riis the Rule on the ones and twos, and we are blowing up.
It's time for the
On a Tuesday. Look, we would have hit him. I was like, hit him with a nuclear bomb. He hit him with a water pistol first. No, I'm just playing. Look, it's the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my man DJ Riis the Rule on the ones and twos. Let me tell you, I gotta say what's up to the listeners of WBGX 1570 AM. That's right, WBGX 1570 AM. I want to tell you, I thank you for tuning in every day, Monday through Friday. 6:30 to 8 a.m. That's right. On 1570 a.m. is WBGX, where you can give us a call at 872-259-7474. That's right, 872-259-7474. Or you can listen to us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. That's right, every day, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch live. It's the Maze Jackson Show. Y'all know the song be hollering. It builds to a crescendo. Oh, Lord. Okay, so I feel triggered. Am I wrong to feel triggered literally when I found out that this was the second most violent weekend of the year? This past weekend, you know, Riis, they were talking about, and I think it's so amazing to me that they have downplayed the level of violence that has occurred this weekend. Because if we were to listen to our brothers and sisters who told us to lay back and enjoy, our Latin, black and brown brothers and sisters who told us that it was just a good time had by all with no trouble, no violence. Apparently, Riis, that's not the case. Now, if we would have been all over the place like that downtown, and people would have got shot, they would have been passing a law talking about why black kids can't be downtown after 10 o'clock. The hypocrisy surrounding what happened yesterday, this past weekend, it's not lost on me, but it only goes to, one more time, I really think we missed our turn. Like I'm coming to the revelation that beyond the fact that ain't nothing new under the sun, it's like black people just refuse to believe that fat meat is greasy. Right? Like, how many people have we seen die or finally live their dreams at death because they realize that black folks is going to figure out a way to sabotage us. We are monolithic in our willingness to sabotage ourselves. So even at the second most violent weekend, we are told to shut your trap. And not like, okay, so let me stop. Did you see the mayor picks the 43rd Ward Alderman, Mr. Knutson? He is the chairman of the Zoning Board of Appeals currently. Mayor adds another alderman to her list of appointees. I think she's gotten 3, maybe 4. I'm gonna check that one out, see it, but that's for the 43rd Ward. Riis, you at peace? You feel better now that the queen is at rest? Their queen. Look, I'm gonna take the out of, you know how they say the queen? It's gotta be their queen for us. Cause we gotta add an IR. Because the reality is that is not my queen. Right? It's not. It's just not. And I feel like when we say the queen, it's like acknowledging her. It's like it's just the way it's gonna be. Nope, that's not my queen. Rest in peace. And I just am still tripping on all the songs that I heard that were American songs that I thought was our songs that they just remixed. They redid. They did a Maze Jackson to all the English songs. Changed all the words. Same song. New words, new meaning. Did you see 2 cops charged in the shooting of a suspect, and they are going to release the video? Kim Foxx charged 2 more police officers. Yeah, dog. she like, if I'm going hard. 2 more police officers, and they are releasing the video. They are questioning Governor Ron DeSantis because he said, let me borrow some of your immigrants so I can fly them to Martha's Vineyard. He was like, oh, that's a good idea, but I'm going to do you one, but I need to borrow some. So they said they tricked him on the plane. Now, my thing is this, bro. These be the disconnected arguments. Like, they walked over 1,300 miles across, and then they got here and were forced to get on buses and planes to go places that they didn't even want to go. Where was they planning on going? And it's like they got to Martha's Vineyard. So check it out. They got the YMCA. So on the north side of Chicago, Alderman Deborah Silverstein says she can take some of the migrants. What wards do you think they're gonna put the most migrants in? Because Riis, they coming. So like, does every ward just take a busload and as it rotates around? And this is different migration than the other kind of immigration. You know, because like everybody else, you gotta had to find your own. They got like migration valet service, right? Like everybody else was like, get off the boat, man. You gotta figure it out, cause like now it's like get here, and they like, hey Joe, you get here. They got a bus. You get private jet transportation, man. Imagine you left from Venezuela and you wind up in Martha's Vineyard.
All you gotta do is get him over there.
Right.
Get here, bro. It's a wrap.
Riis, all you gotta do is get here.
Sweet lick. It's a sweet lick here, bro. All you gotta do is get here.
Riis, don't you love when people say, all you gotta do is get, like that used to be frat, right? Like that'd be a road trip.
Hey, man,
frat
I got
mob.
you, bro.
Mob, all you gotta do is get here.
All you gotta do is get here, bro. I got you.
We got you on the hospitality. We got you. Man, Riis, just all you gotta do is get here. And you know MS-13, like, shoo, I'm all, and you know how when you get off the plane, like you know how black Chicagoans get off the plane in Atlanta, black Chicagoans get off the plane in Houston, they be looking around like, oh yeah. They're like, oh, and the blacks moving out too? We finna be occupied, bro. Oh, before y'all, but hold on, and I'm gonna play this, Riis, only because you know they're going to call me racist. It's racist when Maze say it, right? But in the words of your own U.S. Senator, Riis, you got to turn me up in the switcher. In the words of your own U.S. Senator,
across my state of Illinois and virtually every other state, there is a desperate need for workers.
Our birth rate is not keeping up with our demands for workers. And in every walk of life that you can imagine, we need more people. And there are those who want to serve this country, but we need an orderly process at the border. To do that, we need Congress to do its part on a bipartisan basis.
Border?
Just in case.
Across the border to make that dangerous trip?
No, not at all. The city has always been a sanctuary city, and we've always managed those who wanted to come to New York City to pursue the American dream. Let's be clear here. We've all come from somewhere. Our lineage came from a location, and the pursuit of the American dream is what we've all.
Which one was that for us?
It could be done correctly by making sure people legally enter the country, and we.
Just get here. Just get here, dog. Just get here. Riis. It's all right, though. I don't know if y'all remember. I actually had video from it. I don't know if y'all remember back in 2017, before 2019, on the Maze Jackson show, when it was the morning show with the other station, we exposed the story about the Chicago Water Department that led to a series of investigations. The first of which yesterday was a settlement for $950,000. I'm gonna pull that interview up at some point. It goes back to the origins of the show, but it was like when the Lions Den and we broke down the racism that was going on at the water department that later became a big story. But it was pretty cool to read in the paper today that the first of many lawsuits is being settled for $950,000. And I wonder, like I was seeing my man Nick Spazzato, I think it was, that was saying, well, how much is this going to cost for us? How much does racism cost? Like if you experience racism at the job, I know like right now at the Illinois Tollway, I got one of my homies that's out there that's being forced. Like all of the supervisors are acting like they don't see the white racist supervisor or white racist clouded guy. Riis, he walking around. They got in at the Illinois Tollway Authority, right? Like state of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, who is talking about all the racism, has a white supervisor that is terrorizing black workers out there, hanging black bottles from the ceiling with nooses. Talking about, oh, it's decorations, right? It's just the racism that black people have to accept in the workplace to have a somewhat good job. Like, I feel like yeah, man, we as black folks suffer or be quiet at the job and take racism and take all type of stuff because we just be wanting to get home and take care of our families. And I just think that, like, when I remember that brother at the water department, he had been there and he talked about getting his job from Harold Washington. And, like, when they was all excited about getting the jobs and being excited as black people getting jobs at this white department, and then Harold Washington dies and Gene Sawyer dies and the white people take back over and they got great jobs, Riis, making bunches of hours, but a bunch of money an hour. But even at the jobs that are you supposed to be quiet and take, it's like you still dealing with race, like straight hardcore, like racial racism. Like they started releasing the emails and all that stuff. We even got the water department commissioner whacked. Gave him a black dude got the spot. But the fact of the matter is, Riis, black people, this all goes to we missed our time. Like we missed our moment. So like check this out. We still getting firsts. Right? Like we still are celebrating firsts. And those firsts be under assault from the second that they get in. Oh, then you see these things where they call and say, hey, we want to take the money out of politics, right? Like, hey, okay, I'm going to talk to y'all about that a little later because it's the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Let's pray for the people in Puerto Rico. Y'all remember Puerto Rico? Oh, we did a show about Puerto Rico, and that was beginning of the end of the Maze Jackson show. As we knew it, because, I might have to pull a clip up from that. Yeah, I might have to pull that up. Anyway, it's the Maze Jackson show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my man DJ Riis the Rule on the ones and twos. And Riis, those are my headlines today. And now, I want you to get the button ready, not the bomb. Like, I don't want you to be ready to be blowing up. On a Tuesday, I need the big voice. So go ahead, get the big voice ready, and then let's do it.
It's time for the social media question of the day.
Yo! Does Dr. Willie Wilson have a black problem? I want to open up the lines, and I'm gonna talk about this. I'm gonna expand this conversation after 7:00 because we're gonna take a deep dive into the Chewie poll. But before we do, I want to just take a moment to talk about the Dr. Willie Wilson situation. And I want to open up the phone lines. Give us a call, 872-259-7474. And I want to talk about this. And I want to make sure that anybody that's tuned in or with Dr. Wilson is clear that this is not a diss to Dr. Wilson. This is me wanting to examine our situation. And when I say it's me wanting to examine our situation, I hear a lot of people saying, why doesn't Willie just get out the way and fund someone else? Even though he got the money. Okay? And I was talking to a black elected official, and I was, we was just going back and forth, and I was just like, I don't know how the mayor gets out of the black community and blah, 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 blah. And like I said, with just the black vote being so split, and they was like, and I keep feeling like the splits hurt the mayor. But he was like, no, because it's going to be so split, and the plurality in the space is going to go to the mayor. And we're going to talk about this a little bit and I was like, with all of the work that Dr. Wilson has done, he's a businessman, blah, 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 blah. Now, I'm not here to politic for Dr. Wilson. But the reality is, when you look at the numbers, Dr. Wilson has the best chance coming out of the black community. Whether we like that or not, whether you sit wherever you sit. And let me back up. This is, okay, my two main reasons, Riis, and caller, you hold on because I'm going to take your call. But first thing, there are three things, really, why I feel like I just feel like our moments where we know that the mayor is going to flip on us. Like, if we support Mayor Lori Lightfoot this time, she is going to, no matter how black we want, she is going to flip on us. Right? And it is not lost on me that she just got to blackness when she started seeing her polling. Okay? I think about Dr. Wilson supporting her after he won every black ward when black people were suspect of her. Now, I'm not going to say he won it because Tony Preckwinkle, like, black people was not going for Tony Preckwinkle. We saw how she did Alderman Beale. When he was the first alderman to support her and raise her money, she kicked him to the curb. Riis, when black people were under full-on assault, the mayor, get ready to switch. Well, let's do this. When the black people were in full-on assault, Mayor Lightfoot could have cared less about us. And so I can't forget these things. I'm going to give you examples. I think about how she thought about us during COVID. Riis, I can't forget who she is. Give us a call, 872-259-7474. Does Dr. Willie Wilson have a black problem? Caller, you on the Mace Jackson Show.
Good morning, Mace. This is Hope.
Hope, what's up, Hope? Don't break us down. Hope about to break us down again, man. What's going on, Hope? How you feeling this morning, my brother? Hello, Hope. Hope.
We can hear his background.
Out of Hyde Park.
Hope. We lost you, bro. You got to start all over. Whatever you were saying, you got to start all over. We lost you.
Okay, two quick things. First, on Willie Wilson. Yes, he does have a black problem, and it emanates out of Hyde Park. It's part of that Hyde Park posse. And that Hyde Park posse, you got to be one of them to be with them. Obama, if you will. And the second thing is this. You mentioned you did that first story on the water department years ago. The gentleman that you interviewed, Michael Outley, he goes to trial this week, 9/23, this Friday, federal court, case 17 CV 0699. Stay tuned for that case.
Okay, man.
I am one of the experts.
Oh, really? Oh, that's cool. Well, what we need is an update on that. Like, we need an update on that regularly. Actually, I'm going to pull that video, and I might this week actually play that video back. Play that, what do you call it? Play that interview back, because that was the first of many to come is what I'm hearing. Is that true?
Yes, and yes, that is true. But I can't give you updates. I'm one of the expert witnesses, so I can't really say much until I'm on the stand.
Okay.
But the long and short is, people can come down to federal court and listen in.
Oh, well, we might have to do that. I hope you're gonna have to put information. Tell us when it starts. When?
Friday, the 23rd.
Okay, you know what I
or
think?
Is that Thursday? That's Friday.
I'm going to play that video back on Thursday, as a matter of fact. So that's what we'll do. We'll play his interview back on Thursday. Michael Outley, I was just looking at it this morning, actually. He had on his brown suit. He had the lawyer, the whole thing. He still got that sister that's the lawyer?
Yes.
Well, if there's a way to connect her back to us and let her know we're still on the air, we'd love to just have her come, if she can give us an update, but let us know what's going on. Hope, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for always. Go ahead. What's her name?
Attorney Calvita Frederick.
There it
Attorney
is.
Calvita Frederick.
All right, I got that. I will take it down. We will reach out to her. Hope, I appreciate you, man, and thanks for all the information you provide and keeping the chat cracking. Look, it's the Mace Jackson Show. Riis, we got anybody else on the line? Call you on the Mace Jackson Show. Does Dr. Willie Wilson have a black problem? Hold on, before I take the call. Riis, switch over. No, before you switch over. This is what I need you to get Anjanette together, and you can just start it at the spot. So I just have moments that are burned into my mind that I cannot forget, right? And so for me, I don't know that the mayor is an option in the first round, right? I don't know if she's an option for me at any point, knowing that regardless of what you do, she will cross you. But Riis, the question becomes, like, play that spot for me real quick, because we don't got to play the whole part, but I just need to hear, the screams will never get out of my head. Go ahead.
And I watched that video.
Please don't work. Go. Go.
how this case was litigated in federal court. The federal judge put in place an order.
There's
allegations that she has violated that. A federal judge put rules in place. It's for that judge to determine whether or not that was appropriate. I'm not going to sit here and second guess a federal judge or how the information related to that matter is handled. That's for that judge who I know and is very competent and I'm sure will be fair in assessing.
Oh my God, this cannot be right.
Fair and assessing.
Because the COPA has not yet made a decision in 22 months on this.
I just, look, we got to fess up and we got to clean it up.
You have the wrong place. You got the wrong house. You got the wrong house.
We will and we must continue to say her name.
Should be. There's no enforcement inflicted about.
She's like, look, a federal judge. She knew that woman. Like, that's how she views us. Riis, go to the live line. Call you on the Maze Jackson Show.
How you doing, Maze?
What up? Who this?
This is J Mel.
Oh, what's up, J Mel? How you feeling, man?
Pretty good, and you? Pretty good, and you?
Great.
That's good. That's good. So I think that Willie Wilson has a black problem in the sense that us black people have a perception issue with regard to, you know, who we think is viable for candidacy, who we kind of trust, because we like to lead into politics when you have someone like Willie Wilson who has a record of business or has acumen at a certain level, and you know, we just go with a black face. And then the other fold is that, you know, we as black people, that we look at it kind of like gimmicky with some of the things that he do. Now, me, I support Willie Wilson. I think he's the best candidate running. But, you know, there's going to be a lot of people that's going to go back to Ms. Lightfoot, you know, with the bull crap, with the cover up, with the no accountability. And, you know, for the most part, we in this city, we okay with that for some reason. I don't know why, but that's his black issue, is that, you know, we go with the get along.
I'm going to tell you, I think you're 100% right. Let's open up the phone call. Let's open up the phone lines, but this is the thing I want to say. It has been brought to my attention that black people, the educated black people, will never, ever support Dr. Wilson. And I feel like it's the miseducation of the educated Negro. I have listened and watched black people who have railed and... Do y'all... Let Riis flip over to my computer. This is what I want. Flip over to my computer. Because I'm going to play... Like, these be like the greatest hits to me. Like, where we act like we don't remember that this was said, and you got to get your special beat playing together, Riis, because you know.
To be able to control it. But I know that we asked our faith base yesterday to stand at the front line between police and looters and rioters. And I am simply not comfortable telling my churches, those people, to be the intermediary in the middle of a riot that's citywide. We need something better, because right now we only have 370 whatever National Guards on standby. Half our neighborhoods are already obliterated. It's too late.
This happened in black neighborhoods.
We have to come up with a better plan, because my fear is once they're done looting and rioting and whatever's going to happen tonight, God help us, what happens when they start going after residents, going into the neighborhoods? Once they start trying to break down people's doors so they think they got something, or, you know, we know.
Nope, They got us again, Reese. They be getting us. I be forgetting. But yeah, I think, like, do y'all remember being under assault? I'm gonna find the clips from when the assaults happened, because I think y'all just be forgetting what happened. Bring it back up.
Turn there, focus in the neighborhood. I got gangbangers with AK-47s walking around right now, just waiting to settle some scores. What are we going to do? What do we tell our residents other than good faith people stand up? It's not going to be enough.
Thank you, Alderman. Next question.
Well, no, I want an answer. You commented on everybody. I want an answer. It's not something you ignore. This is a question that I have.
I think you're 100% full of shit. If you think
no offense, you then. Who are you to tell me I'm full of shit?
And if you think we were not ready and we stood by and let the neighborhood go up, there's nothing intelligent that I can say to you.
Well, maybe you should come out and see what's going on.
The stupidest thing I have ever heard. I understand you want to preen. I understand that you think that you...
Mayor, you need to check your... That's what you need to do. Right now, no. You need to check your...
Reese, like, I just feel like we forgot. And like, so check it out. Like, y'all remember COVID? She gave you booty masks, and Dr. Wilson was like, I'm going to give you, and they refused to buy masks. He gave every alderman 10,000 masks, Reese. He gave away 500,000, plus he gave them away. He went to every senior home. He has a black problem, like we as black folks. Like Willie Wilson. Does Willie Wilson have a black problem? We're going to talk about it some more when we come back. It's the Mace Jackson Show. Because I guess my thing is people don't remember what happened. And it's just, to me, amazing that we will sign our own, like, we have proof. And yet here we sit. It's the Mace Jackson Show. We'll be back after these messages. We'll be right back soon, coming after these messages. Well, look, y'all, I'm trying to figure out what's going on, but in the meantime, I was going to say I got an oldie but goodie, but I just think about what happened during COVID, what happened to our kids. Move along. Y'all going to forget. Y'all are going to forget. Like those Anjanette screams. Think about, so check this out. White people had the screams of the white lady taken down because they couldn't bear to hear it from the screams of that lady who got her. Remember the damn Prof commercial and they called it racist? And now you got the mayor. We listened to Anjanette screams and we were able to ignore them, just like Riis was with his think like, look like us, think like, I'm just stopping. But my point being, we are immune to our own pain and suffering, and we'll even go back to the people who did it to us or who watched it happen to us. She stood by the judge. It's the Mace Jackson Show. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back after these messages.
The Mace Jackson Show. We'll be back after this break.
Hey, Chicagoland, all roads lead to Solo Beauty Supply, the largest black-owned beauty supply in Chicago. We carry a large selection of natural hair care products, plus much more. So come see us at one of our two locations, located at 9011 South Ashland or 8158 South Cottage Grove. Our inventory is growing, and with your support, Solo Beauty will continue to be a source of pride in our community.
Mace Jackson.
Tune in to the Mace Jackson Show every day, Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 a.m., where you can catch us on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook Live. Plus, from 6:30 to 8, you can get us on WBGX 1570 a.m. That's right, it's the Mace Jackson Show, where every single day we ask the question, what's in it for the black people? And if you don't like it, you can still tell them, Mace said. We out of here. Peace.
I'm feeling good, y'all. Smiling more every day. Closer to my dreams. Hey, guapole, the food tastes better. I stopped smoking squares. Healing from
from the inside out, making repairs. I forgave some people, thanked them for the lessons, cause holding on to it was blocking my blessings. No more stressing, worry dishonors God, so I just pray, and I'm loving my odds. Bingo with like minds, gravitate where light shines. Graduate, masters, your rhymes ain't like mine. Big Dank from the west side, this is my best self. Taking vacations, hoping the rest helps. Got a career now, loving what's ahead. My spirit is free from the stuff that I shared.
I feel good now, ain't that what life's about? Thank you for new days, something to sing about. Let's do it a new way, more than just talk about. Today's a holiday, that's what it's all about. I feel good now, ain't that what life's about? Thank you for new days, something to sing about. Let's do it a new way, more than just talk about. Today's a holiday, that's what it's all about.
I'm feeling so good now, walking on higher ground. Got out the country, visit some new towns, made some new friends, let go of some bad ones. Soon as that took place, everything got fun. My lifestyle going up, opportunity showing up. I'm back where I wanna be, no headaches and throwing up. Reconnect with the homie, it's positive energy, vibes and wavelengths. It's all about frequency. I'm back with my first love, it feel like the first time. I'm back in the studio, this ain't my first rhyme. I wake up every day, blessed as heavenly. Before I ain't say much, now I got much to say. Raise my credit score, got rid of some past debt. Heard that's attractive, well call me a magnet. Plugged into an outlet, living life outright. All on my Kid Cudi, focusing day and night. Right?
Now ain't that what life's about? Thank you for new days, something to sing about. Let's do it a new way, more than just talk about. Today's a holiday, that's what it's all about. I feel good now, ain't that what life's about? Thank you for new days, something to sing about. Let's do it a new way, more than just talk about. Today's a holiday, that's what it's all about. Feel good.
Feel good. See, my state gets busy. That's the cardinal rule.
Back to the Maze Jackson Show. You are listening to the most dangerous show. This is What's in It for the Black People Radio. Maze Jackson. Maze Jackson, the most vociferous advocate for black people in the world.
For the black people, cause economically we are not equal. Waking up to lies, can't toast no more. I told y'all, yeah, this is a dangerous show. Don't go to church if you ain't trying to help us. Don't even try to be around and can't protect us. We see the lies now of the politicians. We need money and no symbolism. It's Maze and Riis and Ruthie and Ty, explaining how we all come from God, giving us tools to beat the odds. If we united, our movement gon' stop. If they ain't tryna help us, they ain't tryna do nothing. We gotta do something, we gotta stop running. It's time to confront the problem. Really, you expect your oppressed to solve.
Wake up, Chicago. Wake up, world. This is the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my man, DJ Riis, the rule on the ones and twos. I am the host of the Maze Jackson Show. Riis, you got me a little sooner than I was ready to. But it's all good. Look, y'all.
Could have heard a little bit more, you know. We ain't played it, extended a little bit, you know.
What? The what now?
I said, nah, you could have let it extended a little bit, the song, you know.
You know what? I wasn't even thinking about that.
I heard it a little extended in a minute.
Oh, Lord. Hold on. I'm really trying to find us some information. What is going on? Look out. It's the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. And I really wanted to talk about hold on. Yeah, it's the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Riis, we are talking about kind of what was happening during. Man, there's so much history going back. All right, look, I'm gonna come get it in a minute. Look, y'all, it's the Mace Jackson Show. I want to know, does Willie Wilson have a black problem? It's funny because when I talk to the regular black folks, they be like, they represent Dr. Wilson. You know, like they be like, Dr. Wilson be out here doing this thing. They show him love, etc. I often see Riis, though, and then there are the black people that are educated that like Dr. Wilson, but would never vote for him, who kind of, I feel like, look down on him. Like, regardless of the fact that he can buy them, they family, and they family 300 times, as he has said on numerous occasions. I signed the front of my check. And please forgive me with the regular black folks. I feel like the average black person that does not feel like they have arrived, or the middle class black person that is between 45 and 54, probably in some way, shape, or form consider themselves above Dr. Wilson in the fight, Riis. And the best way for me to encapsulate it was the black people that were complaining about the free gas giveaways because it made them late to work. And I feel like there's a lot of college educated black people who, can I say this without offend? This is who I feel like are the type of people like that are embarrassed of me in front of white people, but want to be down with me when it ain't no white people around. Right? Like, I don't think there's anybody who wouldn't come like if Dr. Wilson said, I'm throwing an Earth, Wind, and Fire concert or whatever he's throwing. I think black people, and he said it was free, I think all the bougie black people and everybody else would come. The rich black people wouldn't come because they'd be like, man, it only demonstrates how much the people love him. Right? Like, so as much as they're critical of him, it's like the elite and the aspiring to be elite look down on him for his connection to the people. Like, they are connected to the top. To me, Dr. Wilson is connected to the bottom. Right? Now, he can operate in the top. Right? Because he got the money to go anywhere. He got as money as the rich black people in the world. Right? But the rich black people in the world be like, that nigga over there. Right? Because I'm not going to say Dr. Wilson ain't never compromised with white folks, because we got to talk about the McDonald's thing, right? But at the same time, I don't know that Dr. Wilson tells black people to bow down to white people, right? Like, I feel like Dr. Wilson goes into the room and all the black people in the room, like, they going to try and get some kind of way. He ain't going to try and trick the black people in the room. To me, and I think that he is the guy that he goes into the room and tells the people what the black people think. Well, let me say, does that make sense to me? To you? Like, Dr. Wilson, to me, is the antithesis of the Afrostocracy. Although he's created his own space, right? Like, he said, forget trying to be accepted by y'all, because at a certain point, the wealthy elite and aspiring to be elite Negroes they're going to always look down on you. So instead of me trying to be part of your club, I'm going to make my own club. And now his club is actually bigger. Like, quite frankly, if Dr. Wilson turned the people that was with him are loose on the black people that's working against him for the mayor, they'd have a problem. Like they'd have a real problem. Because in my estimation, they don't have a connection to the people. They have a connection to other rich people, but they don't have the ability to mount up. So, but I do think Dr. Wilson has a black problem, and I'm trying to understand it. Give us a call, 872-259-7474. Riis, go to the live line. Caller, what's up?
Remaze, how you doing?
Hey, Deacon Quarles, how you feeling? Don't you start that country talk. Man, the bougie people won't let you come on either, man.
I know. And look, I know Dr. Wilson personally, man. Look, the reason that he had what we'll term it a black problem is for the bougie black folks that got their money through the channels that they went through. They upset because Dr. Wilson didn't. He doesn't owe anybody anything for what he's gotten. He doesn't, you know what I'm saying? He didn't go through the channels. He didn't bow down. He didn't scrape. He didn't, kiss on you. Anyway, so that's their biggest issue with him. And quite frankly, yeah, he has a lot more money than a lot of them do. But what they tend to forget is, see, this is the same Dr. Wilson that probably went to some of their same churches and left, I'm going to probably say millions of dollars there in their churches to help them when they were faltering. But how soon we forget. So, yeah, Dr. Wilson has a bougie Negro problem. I'll term it that way because that's not the word I really want to use. But it's not his fault, and it's nothing that he should really worry about. Yeah, you're right. He has a following that could actually, it can rival some of the other, because right now, the folks in the street is like, oh, y'all rich too. Why should we listen to you? You haven't done anything. Mind you now, Democratic Party, 40 years plus, nothing's changed. And matter of fact, things have gotten worse. So, yeah, if the question is, does he have a black problem? I wouldn't quite call it a black problem. I call it a bougie Negro problem. It's a little bit different. Anyway, mate, the book I need you to read, and I need to send you the title of it. Somehow I'll try to figure out how to send it to you, but I got a book I need to read. But anyway, that's the issue. Now, to me, I believe Dr. Wilson should actually focus on being a kingmaker instead of trying to be king all the time. Because I believe he could be a heck of a lot more powerful and effective in doing that. Mayor's races in the south suburbs and all over that could actually help. I'll put it that way. There are other races that I think he should kind of influence that could help the community as a whole, not just Chicago.
Okay, see, thank you, Deacon Quarles. We gotta get you on over to the spot. I know you gonna have to meet. We're gonna have to meet in a secret spot, meet in a secret time, but we're gonna have to get together, Deacon Quarles. Look, y'all, it's the Maze Jackson Show. Does Willie Wilson have a black problem? Now, I'm gonna introduce some other information. Callers, hold on, give us a call, 872-259-7474. So I was looking at this poll that was commissioned by La Nuestra. I'm sorry. But it is by Ben Dixon and Namandi International. It is, do you remember last week when Chewie Garcia said, well, I think be a formidable, I 50-50 chance, and somebody needs to do a poll to see if I should get in the race? Well, Riis, he did a poll. Somebody magically did a poll. It's an organization that is focused on Latino issues, and I have a copy of it. Now, he also gave a copy of it to Lynn Sweet, who Gus Savage referenced a little bit. We'll let that go. But it was interesting because it shows that Chewie Garcia is neck and neck with Riis. Chewie Garcia is neck and neck with Lori Lightfoot. As a matter of fact, one below. But what the poll does not indicate is that Willie Wilson, according to this poll, at least in favorability, is number 2. So let me break it down. Can I break it down to you? Because one of the things that I thought was important was to examine this drop off, because Willie Wilson right now, if you check out his likability between strongly support and somewhat favorable, Willie Wilson is right now in the second place at 49% of the people find him favorable with 29% unfavorable. That's very strongly support or likely to support. But then when it comes down to voting, Willie Wilson then drops to 11% with picking up 2 points undecided, which, Riis, there's a giant drop off between his likability, favorability, and the willingness to vote, right? And that to me is the gap that Willie Wilson has to close. Willie Wilson is among the top 3 finalists according to this poll. If the election was held today, it would be Lightfoot, Chewie Garcia. It would be Lightfoot, Chewie Garcia, Willie Wilson, and Pat Quinn would be the top 4 candidates if the election were held today. Willie Wilson, Lightfoot, Chewie Garcia, and Pat Quinn. So now if you look at that, Chewie Garcia, if you look at Willie Wilson and Lightfoot fighting in the black community to split the vote, well, the reality is the likelihood of black people voting for Lightfoot jumps to 25%. Over Willie Wilson's 13%, then thus ensuring that we don't win. Now, if you add in the Jamal Green, Sophia King, Rod Sawyer, Cam Buckner, Brandon Johnson, Riis, the black vote becomes micro split, and either Chewie Garcia or Pat Quinn wins. But my question is, will black people support? Because you see the drop off. So everybody, it is a classic. People will take Willie's money, enjoy all of the wonderful things, but will they vote for him? And then the question becomes, if we know Lori, how do we support her? Now, I can't trip, Riis. I guess that's what has to happen. But give us a call. 872-259-7474. Does Willie Wilson have a black problem? Caller, you there?
Yo, what's going on, bro? What's up, Riis? What's up, bro?
What's up, Devo? How you feeling, man?
Man, I'm just glad to be here, man. And I think he does. But I think he has a miseducated black people problem. And, and like you said, he got more bread than the so-called educated, bougie black people. So period. The funny thing about black people is we got a dusty hater energy problem. And when you hating on somebody because of how they talk, or you hating on somebody because they got and you don't, that's just some dusty player hating energy. That's all it is. And as much as we go to church, and as much as we just got a problem, bro. And it ain't nothing but it's no difference than when dude got killed in California than what we talking about right now. It's just a dusty player hating energy that's all throughout, no matter where we are. Man, we just got to get up off that crumb stuff. We got to get together, support people, man. And then you want to know the crazy thing? The people that we're talking about won't even discuss what the real issue is. And that's the problem that I have. The some of us who are open to discussion, they'll be like, oh man, y'all don't know politics, y'all don't understand this, y'all don't understand that. But we're really trying to seek a better understanding. We're trying to learn. I didn't learn politics the way these uppity people have learned it. I didn't learn it like that. But I see the man doing good. I understand what he's trying to do. But they will never, ever engage us in an intellectual discussion about why they feel the way that they feel. They will hide, and then pop up and do like the little hit pieces on him. It's just sad, bro. It's no different than the people in the hood. The bougie people ain't no different than the people in the hood that's causing destruction in the neighborhood. They just do it in a different way. And those of us that are in the middle, we just trying to hold it all together. So it's just some player hating energy. Y'all need to stop player hating and say what y'all on and stop being scary. Because you still OJ at the end of the day.
Man.
Hamster wheel, bro. It's the hamster wheel.
That's why
all of this stuff is on.
Go ahead.
Nah, it's like you say, bro. It's the Black Groundhog Day. It's the hamster wheel, dog. All because we just refuse to articulate. I remember when I was a kid, man. My mama used to, when I would get upset, my mom would say, "Devin, use your words. You black people, use your words. If you're not feeling something, say why you're not feeling it. But don't dismiss people because they're looking at a picture differently than you're looking at it. Because that literally just makes you a hater. But if we support basketball players that never finished the 8th grade. They can't speak, but y'all support them. It's no difference. What is it about this brother that people just can't get with? Because it's really him, and that's what makes you a hater.
Hey man,
that's all. I'm just trying to figure it out, bro.
Hey man, I'm gonna tell you, it's no different than the videos we've been watching. Look, y'all, it's the Maze Jackson Show. I'm really starting to like. Did y'all hear what my man said? We were the black majority, and we were still fighting to get. We were trying to get a majority of black wars when we were majority, and we ain't now. We now trying to fight 15. They was trying to get 26. This all happened in our lifetime, and now we about to have this fight over Chewie Garcia and who we gonna support. Riis, flip over. I got a video that I want to play. I don't even know how it's gonna come out, but you got it. I've been doing this thing so long, Riis. This is why I've decided that y'all getting a podcast once a week, because I can't keep on. Riis, we missed our turn. This is me in 2015. Maze Jackson, 2015.
Of these two communities, the African American and Latino communities. Why? Because together they comprise a majority of the population in the city of Chicago.
This is me in 2015.
While having different historical.
2015, at the National Association of Black Journalists, I asked Chewie Garcia what has he done to support the black and brown coalition since Harold Washington died, and this was his response.
Cultivating the potential of these two communities, the African American and Latino communities. Why? Because together they comprise a majority of the population in the city of Chicago. while having different historical experiences, many of the challenges for both of these communities are quite similar in terms of overcoming some of the historical barriers that the communities have had. One of the initiatives that I've been a founder of over the past 8 years is known as the United Congress of Community and Religious Organizations, where we have brought together people of color, including Asian, Muslim, Latino, and African Americans, to discuss policy initiatives at the city, state, and federal levels that can forge a common agenda among these communities, addressing issues of inequality, of stereotyping, and ensuring, especially issues in areas of criminal justice, of housing, of economic development, are addressed in those different legislative halls at both local and federal and state levels. This is a part of the work and a part of the reflection of my commitment to bring Chicago's diversity together for the common good. As we move forward over the next 2 weeks that are left before the February 24th election, we have a tremendous opportunity to bring the two communities together, as well as the rest of the city of Chicago, in a democratic coalition that can win, that can demonstrate to the rest of the country that if cities like New York and Chicago can come together and fight against a corporate agenda that features the dominance of the super rich and the super powerful, and end the control that they've had over the city of Chicago, that next year, presidential year, when congressional elections will also be held, can bode well for initiatives like an urban agenda, the rebuilding of America's infrastructure, as well as creating thousands and thousands of job opportunities for people everywhere in the country. This is a momentous occasion, a historic opportunity that we face to address America's needs not to be left behind. Our systems of infrastructure are crumbling. It's a great opportunity to put people to work at a great scale and to stimulate the economy and to address inequities, historic inequality. Thank you.
So this is the Maze Jackson Show. That was Chewie Garcia talking about his vision when he ran in 2015, I believe it was. Things have changed, guys. I think we had our chance to get on board back then. We got to take a look at what's going on. It's the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Riis will be back after these messages.
The Maze Jackson Show will be back after this break.
Sesame Street Live, make your magic. Experience the fun. Join Elmo, Abby, and friends on an amazing journey filled with surprises and spectacular illusions. Discover the magic in everyday life when Sesame Street Live comes to your neighborhood. Coming to Rosemont Theater October 7th through 9th. Tickets on sale now. For show details, visit SesameStreetLive.com.
Well, sometimes I go out by myself and I look across the water, and I think of all the things what you're doing, and in my head I paint a picture. Well, since I've come home, well, my body's been a mess, and I miss your ginger hair and the way you like to dress. But won't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over, to go to jail, put your house on up for sale. Did you get a good lawyer? I hope you didn't catch a tan. I hope you find that you've been dodging all the time. Are you still dizzy? Oh, yeah. Since I've come home, well, my body's been a mess. And I miss your ginger hair and the way you like to dress. Won't you come on over? Oh, stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over there? Well, sometimes I go out by myself.
You are listening to the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my man DJ Riis the rule on the ones and twos. Let me run through the order based on Chewy's favorability polling. First place would be Chewie Garcia at 56 likability, 20% dislike, favorable, 56 favorable, 20 unfavorable. Now, guys, this is all without media. This is all without. I did not see any included messaging. This was all very much top line. So it doesn't get into the issues that they would go. Although crime is the number one issue by 44%. The next closest is gun control at 7%, with the next closest being jobs at 6%. And just so y'all know, race does not even rate beyond 2%. Race and equity is only 2% of what voters are concerned about. So even as I keep telling you, as I stand here and scream, what's in it for the black people, that's really not an issue, according to the poll. Which is why I also think you won't hear very much. It's like, while I keep going and screaming, nobody really cares, which is why I'm going to stop hollering, because black folks is used to where it is. Like, we missed our time. But let me run through the order. Let's just put the mayor at the top, just as the incumbent, because she gets the benefit of the doubt as the incumbent. But if you talk about the candidates in the race, number 1 would be Chewie Garcia if he got in. 2 would be Willie Wilson, which means Willie Wilson currently would be number 1. Because remember, Chewie's not in the race. Number 3 is Pat Quinn. Number 4, Paul Vallis. Number 5, Ray Lopez at 26 and 14. Number 6, Jamal Green at 25 and 16. Number 7, Sophia King at 23 and 13. Number 8, Rod Sawyer at 18 and 18. Number 9, Cam Buckner at 16 and 7. And number 10, Brandon Johnson at 14 and 8. Now, when you look at if you were asked to vote today, though, first place becomes Mayor Lori Lightfoot. Number 2 becomes Chewie Garcia. Number 3 is Willie Wilson. Number 4, Paul Vallis. Number 5. So realistically, the mayor's movement really only comes with the black people in the Willie Wilson space. So Chewie Garcia, the mayor kind of has her base, and that ain't growing. 50% of the people in the city of Chicago have said they will not vote for Mayor Lightfoot again. 50%. Let me see. 55% of the city says that the city is on the wrong track. The mayor has an approval rating of 44 with 54 opposed, and 50% of the people say they will not reelect her. Riis, that's a challenge. And these are all likely voters. But the sample size is a little bit small, so it's 400. But Willie Wilson clearly has a black problem. How does he overcome it? Because there are no other black candidates that are even scraping him and don't have the money. So let's go here. Willie Wilson tops out, according to this poll, at 13%. The next closest black candidate to him is Sophia King. It goes Sophia King, Jamal Green, and then Brandon Johnson. But Sophia King has 4%. Brandon Johnson has 2, and Jamal has 3. So Willie Wilson leads them all by 10 points. And if you take this 10 points and you recognize that 50% of these people are not going to ever vote for Lori Lightfoot, every one of these black candidates in the race helps keep her in the race. So now the question becomes, is there so much ego? Now, guys, this is all, but we got to get to a point where we look at who's got money.
You think Willie can get, like, maybe, like, how did that work? What if Chewie say that he rocking with Willie? You think that would give him a boost?
Yeah, I think it would give him a boost. I think Chewie can be the kingmaker here, or he can be the king. Right? The reality is, looking at this poll right now, because the educated black person will pick Chewie Garcia over Willie Wilson. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. Now, they can't understand what Chewie's saying, but I am telling you that the average educated black person will vote for Chewie Garcia before they will vote for Willie Wilson, and they can justify it in their minds. Even as they tell us that they are for black people, they will justify it in their minds, because I would rather be a servant to somebody that's anti than that nigga over there. I am because too many black people feel they are better than that Negro over there. No matter how much money he got, no matter what he do, they're gonna be like, I'm smarter or better than that Negro. And if you tell me you don't believe that the educated black people, if given a choice between Willie Wilson and Chewie Garcia, the educated black vote goes to.
It don't go to Willie.
The educated black vote goes to Chewie.
Really?
Riis, we will find a justification to denigrate our own people before we will them. Riis, I'm saying. Tell me I'm lying. Give me a call, 872-259-7474. 872-259-7474. Do you really think Willie Wilson could possibly ever get the black business elite in Illinois, in Chicago? No. Willie Wilson he would not be able to galvanize the black business community, because the black business community has been completely co-opted and been told, right? Remember, Riis, they always go with they ain't gonna make an unsafe bet. Our black businesses are now are reliant on government contracts. Remember, I told you, the people that are put in place no longer respond to black people. They don't tell what black people want to the power. They come and try and enforce the power's will on black people by hook or by crook, because they can't tell them anymore, because they don't have the credibility. So what they focus on is trickery or menagerie. So we don't want you to be able to really talk to the black people. We want to hide you from them so that we can say it's all good when really it ain't all good. That's why Rob Sawyer, who lived in the 6th Ward his whole life, ain't allowed to come to a groundbreaking in his own neighborhood. At the same time, one of our own people, real talk, in the pursuit, will watch the black man get disrespected and not say nothing. It's the Mace Jackson Show. Does Willie Wilson have a black problem? I'm just telling you, the black elite would rather get their ass kicked every day, rather be cut out, rather be dogged and talked down to, than have to submit. I would rather submit to an oppressor than to a black man. Call us, the Mace Jackson Show. Does Willie Wilson have a black problem?
What's going on, Maze and Reis and?
This sound like bald-headed. This sound like bald-headed.
No, this T from the West Side, man. I used to call in the WVON. I've kind of changed over and listening to you now.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Because it's pretty much like Willie said. What should I say? I am rich or I is rich. You know, it don't matter. He rich. So the black bourgeois, which Deacon referred to, I forgot who wrote that book, but it's a very good book, The Black Bourgeois. And I want to tell you who includes, the inclusion of who's the black bourgeois now. The black bourgeois has morphed into, we got to have a woman running. Henceforth, that's why little black Jane Byrne got in, Lori Lightfoot. But she haven't made any major faux pas like Jane Byrne did back in the 80s. So, therefore, you know.
Wait, you said she hasn't made... You saying she hasn't made any major faux pas? Like, you don't remember her telling me...
basically, Jane Byrne basically insulted the black community with the... I can't remember verbatim, but she really, really showed her colors. And Lori Lightfoot has showed her colors and who she's down for. So, which is I'm going to refer to another person, the black bourgeois is the LGBTQ community. So, these educated blacks got to tie their kite to all the rest of these groups, the women, the LGBTQ, the immigrant, you know, and like you all were talking about the other day, Cinco de Mayo was just a show of power. If you read the 48 Laws of Power, the Art of War, when a group shows their strength, they throw parades and banter. They just showed their strength. That basically, you know, it's a wrap for the black community in Chicago. And a lot of people said, no, don't say that. You got to have hope. There is no, basically, the street soldiers, the gangs, or whatever you want to call them, they kids, just like the Bible says. It says, your God, your princes and kings shall be children. My people are foolish people. You got your women walking around here want to be kings and all this and listening to all that propaganda. You know, history of your enslaved, the people that sold you into slavery. So Willie Wilson is a bygone entity in the black community, a self-made black man. But like you said, if Chewie gets elected, they don't know what he's saying. Steve Jobs was uneducated. That started Microsoft. He didn't have an education. Elon Musk never went to college. So it could happen in their communities, but it can't happen over here because the black bourgeois and the sororities and all the rest of these kiwis and Woof and all the rest of them, they got to go along with the program to keep their money rolling in. So, like you said, it'll never happen. Thanks for accepting my call. You all have a blessed day, and just keep up the good work, man.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you calling. Keep listening. Keep tuning in. We appreciate you. That's the West Side. You know, it's a little staticky over there. So give us a call, 872-259-7474. 872-259-7474. Does Dr. Willie Wilson have a black problem? Reis, he has favorability at 40. Where my notes at? What doing my papers, man? Dr. Willie Wilson has a 49% favorability. The mayor is at 40. Hold on. The mayor is at 47. Chewie Garcia is at 56. He has a 29 unfavorable, But Riis, when it comes to time to vote, he only gets, if they were asking, he'd only get 13% of the vote. Although, Riis, according to this poll, hold on. Dang nabbit. Although, according to this poll, Mayor Lightfoot gets, 25% of the vote. Right? Chewie gets 24. Willie gets 13. Why is it that he has a 49% favorability, but only 13% of the people will vote for him? And you break that down, and what I really like to do is look at the black demographic. What I'd really like to do is, if they was really trying to show all the points of the poll, they let us see how people voted by race demographic as they've polled and surveyed that. But let's go to the caller. Caller, you on the Mace Jackson Show. Does Willie Wilson have a black problem? Fam, I'm on the show. You calling me, I'm on the show. Thank you to everybody that is tuned in to the hold on. Thank you to everybody that is tuned into the Mace Jackson Show. Give us a call, 872-259-7474. We appreciate you if you are one of the Saints from WBGX. You tune in every day from 6:30 to 8. You can stick with us. We're going to continue this thing from 8 to 9 on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. James, what's up, man? I ain't heard from you in a minute. What's going on? Caller?
Yeah.
Caller.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
I can. Vince?
This ain't James.
Okay, what's going on, caller? Vince, what's up, man?
My name is Vince.
What's up, Vince? How you feeling, man?
All right, I remember I called you a couple of weeks ago and told you about I got the ticket by not having a hubcap.
Oh, right.
You remember that?
I do.
Maze, I understand that when you're talking, you're being facetious, but I want to ask you a question. Who do you plan on voting on for mayor of Chicago?
I haven't decided yet, Vince. I have decided, like Vince. So can I tell you, have you been checking out these videos we've been playing early in the morning at the beginning?
Okay.
So what I'm scared.
Yes, Maze. So are you going to go for Chewie or Willie?
See, look, man, I don't know, man. I'm James. You gotta listen to the show because I figured we might have missed our time already, and so if we already missed our turn, because y'all was asking for our turn back in the 90s, right? And I think we done slept through our turn, so I'm trying to figure this out because Vince, I be waking up fighting for the black people, and the black people don't want to fight for themselves. So I'm not sure yet. I'm a hold my vote and talk back a little bit later.
Hey, Maze, I'm black, and I know who I'm going to vote for.
Who is it?
I don't know if I'm blacker than you or whatever you might want to say, but I'm going to vote for Willie Wilson. I'm going to make it clear right now.
That's what I'm talking about. Look, see, I'm one of them scared bougie Negroes who went to college and is too smart to be trying to vote for some of the country people like my grandparents, right? Who had common sense, who would tell us about, Femo, you got to stop calling me on the show. Who is this? All right, look, it's the Mace Jackson Show. Thank you, Vince. No, Vince, I love it, man. I appreciate you. You know I'm being facetious, right? Y'all know, because see, people be like, Maze, somebody called up and cursed me out. They thought I was real. Well, let me say, I do believe that we need to unify. Vince, could I ask you one real quick question before you go? Oh, you gone. All right, anybody else on the live line? Call you on the Mace Jackson Show. What's up? Caller, you there?
Good morning, Maze. Good morning, Riis. This is
Cassandra Matt, you famous. Oh, wait. Now, I just need to say, hold on. Let me just say, I just want to say that I didn't wait. It didn't take the white people to tell me to protect the sister. I just need to be clear. We got to make sure that we stand up and support our sisters. And I'm so proud of you right now. I'm so happy that you are finally getting some vindication, even though I still hear everybody super quiet. But anyway, how you doing this morning, my darling? What's going on?
I am so elated that you are bringing this to the forefront. I am so glad that you are talking about Dr. Willie Wilson. I was always taught that the intent of a man is in his body of work. And Dr. Wilson has never wavered on his blackness. He has never sold us out. He has, given to the black community as well as other communities. But first and foremost, he would tell you he is black first. And as for our educated black people, they're running from themselves. To admit that they are supporting Dr. Wilson will unveil that they are just like Dr. Wilson. You understand? And, we run from our blackness. We run from that we once was not educated, and now that we have become sedity, I know that's not a word, but we invented that word. We don't want to be associated with our image, and Dr. Wilson is our mirror image, so we run from that. When I first discovered Dr. Wilson, now I've always known him, but I personally know him now because I started following Dr. Wilson when I was executive director for BCO, Black Contractors, Owners, and Executives, where I fought for getting in the mix and letting them know that black contractors exist. So when you say you can't find us, here I am, and I have a whole list of contractors. Where Dr. Wilson was a part of, and he was the chairman of Fair Practices and Contracting Task Force, which is huge. I went to his first meeting where he called all the stakeholders from the state of Illinois to the table, and they were in the room. We're talking the universities. We're talking everybody that took money from the state to build, to do whatever. And then the contractors were in the room. So Dr. Wilson stood up. He introduced himself as the chairman, and he said to everybody in the audience, if you are not here to hear about what's in it for the black people, I need you to leave. I nearly fell out of my seat. To actually hear somebody say, I'm only talking black today, I became a supporter. And Dr. Wilson has not wavered on supporting black people. And this just baffles my mind when I'm in the room and people want to talk about he's ignorant, talk about his diction. It's ridiculous when he shows up for us every single time. I just say that we're the ones that get in our own way. We don't need the white man to put their foot on our necks because the black ones are gatekeepers and keeping us out. And I just do not understand that. And as for Dr. Wilson's diction, he has addressed that. He's got so much money that he can change his voice box if he wanted to, but he don't. He want to show that talking the way that he talks, you can still be a millionaire. That's not going to stop you from being a millionaire and helping people. So I just want to thank you for championing for Dr. Wilson and getting people to think outside the box and get out of their own way. And I want to thank you for everything that you've done for me, bringing my plight in the forefront, because I am dancing in the rain right now. It sucks being that other person. Thank you.
It's the Maze Jackson Show. Look, that's our girl, Cassandra Metz. Look, we got a special guest. Joe Williams is here. Mr. Dad, he is coming to the building. They got a big event coming up. And so we're going to be talking to them, talking to Joe shortly after this break. Look, it's the Maze Jackson Show. I got the poll from CHUY'S. Some people are saying that this could be a potentially fake poll, right? That's why I said I want to see the sample size. I want to see the calls. I thought that they underskewed in the space of they overestimated the 30 to 49. And I was questioning the demographic breaks that they have because they're not the traditional. But hey, again, Chewie told us he needed a poll to draft. He needed a poll. He got his poll. That's what I'm talking about. Look, y'all, it's the Maze Jackson Show. We come back, we're going to talk about some fathers. You know, I had a great time when I was over with Joe Williams and Joseph Williams and the children. I can't remember what school we went to, but I must tell you that I told y'all about how I saw the young people react when they saw the dad mascot. And it just made me know that what he's doing is so important. So when we come back, we're going to talk about the big event that they've got coming up. Look, y'all, it's the Maze Jackson Show. We'll be back after traffic, news, and the weather.
The Maze Jackson Show. We'll be back after this break.
Today, the Biden administration is releasing what it calls a new strategy to fight domestic terrorism. Following a 100-day review, federal officials are now laying out a new plan hoping to deter, detect, and prosecute domestic terror.
They went to the Capitol waving their flags and looking for smoke. He was out there looking for justice. They was over there looking for votes. Ashley Babbitt was with him and told all the people that nothing could stop us. She climbed through the Capitol window, breached security, and called a shot, bro. The media say she a veteran. They paint the picture to make her look greater, but she disrespected the same country that she served. That makes her a traitor. They was fighting police, resisting arrest. On God, I couldn't believe it. I guess blue lives only tend to really matter when it's convenient. Hey, these are the times we witness in history, all because they didn't get a victory. United States is so contradictory. We get equal rights, that's a mystery. Politicians, they more like magicians. You know they got tricks up their sleeve. We point out the flaws that's up in this country. You know they gon' tell us to leave. Somebody try to help me understand it. Always seems like a double standard. They be out here leaving us empty-handed to certain rights we are not granted. The media is the culprit when it comes to the comparison. Cause when it comes to race, they always changing up the narrative. It's terrorism. They say you a patriot, call you a hero. I call it terrorism. And that's on the real. You know what we know, I say it's terrorism. They say you a patriot, call you a hero. I call it terrorism. And that's on the real. You know what we know, I say it's terrorism. They say you a patriot, call you a hero. I call it terrorism. And that's on the real. You know what we know, I say it's terrorism. They say you a patriot, call you a hero. I call it terrorism. We still out here trying to get our reparations, but the government pump faking out here hesitating. I'm out here trying to keep my peace, so I keep meditating. The media make us look bad, they taint our reputation. Look, it's so sad that COVID causing toe tags. You claim you so patriotic, but you ain't wearing no mask. You out here wildin' with your MAGA flags and showing your ass. You wanna be part of some type of revolution so bad. Look, you talk revolution and constitutional rights, homie. I guess we forgot about back in the days when all of the business was whites only. Yeah. George Floyd got justice. Juneteenth got much respect. They made it a national holiday. Man, it's all good, but cut the check. They giving out all of these vaccines, putting it in you like caffeine. Was it all in the part of the plan? I bet money like DraftKings. It's land of the free, home of the brave. 1776, we wasn't free till 1865, so we wasn't part of that shit. And that there's terrorism.
Terrorism. Terrorism. Terrorism. Terrorism. Terrorism. Terrorism. Terrorism.
Back to the Maze Jackson Show. You are listening to the most dangerous show. This is What's in It for the Black People Radio. Maze Jackson. Maze Jackson, the most vociferous advocate for black people in the world.
For Ruthie Moore, for Ty Stroger, I am the host of the Maze Jackson Show, asking every single day, what's in it for the black people? And if you don't like it, you can still tell them Maze said, Mayor Lightfoot, man, we ain't accepting that. We ain't accepting that. Let's go. Yeah.
Let's get down to business and go ahead and address the facts, man. Lightfoot seems more lesbian than black. Rahm Emanuel's another case. He was just as tired. 50 closed schools left much to be desired. Police had Anjanette naked on that body cam. They suppressed the footage so it couldn't touch a lot of hands. Reminds me of that 16 shots in that cover-up. Both of them similar, so I went and dug it up. George Floyd killed, a lot of riots happened in the town. Southside burned and they wouldn't let them bridges down. Grandmother sick, need a prescription and plus a couple groceries. You gon' have to travel just to get it now. COVID-19 out here shutting all the business down. Not enough SBA loans to even give around. So many failed businesses that you could put them in the pile. If you don't survive the pandemic, it's gon' sit you down. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System to milk is so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System to milk is so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. Shout out to Willie Wilson, hope one day you get to send it. We need some different players in the game to handle business. Too many shady characters like Madigan and Blago. But when you really break it down, it's typical Chicago. City full of gangsters, it's what the land was built on. Same streets with hood legends, DNA get spilled on. Carjackers out here lurking, trying to get they steal on. Looking for a block to put them Hellcat wheels on. Let this give bogus appraisals a red line. Car crackers out here getting minimal fair time. And I'm concealed carry, I stay with the pipe. But Illinois gun laws giving minimal rights. Stay up on the swivel, make sure I'm moving tight. Check all of my mirrors when I pull up to the light. Pick my homie up from out of town, man, he caught a flight. He was hella nervous, told him, shorty, this is a way of life. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks.
Wake up, Chicago. Wake up, world. This is the Maze Jackson Show. Right here on a Tuesday. Riis, we blowing up on a Tuesday in the building, right? And one of the things that I like to do, and one of the things that we're trying to do is really start to highlight more black people you should know. And now you've known this brother, y'all. You've in Chicago, whether you know him for running for office. And he's one of the young brothers that I saw in the early days running for office that probably somewhere in the space found his calling or his purpose. Now, I'm not saying that it doesn't evolve and won't change and won't be added to. But there's a lot of people out here that are doing work that don't get the same level of publicity, weren't the chosen ones, weren't picked, weren't turned into a PR machine for some elected official. And I always try to make sure that when those brothers and sisters are doing their thing, that if there's a outlet or a platform that we as an outlet or a platform can make sure that we highlight them. And Brother Joseph has been active on the front lines in so many cases. I think the biggest one you all might remember here is the sister in Dalton, who was killed in the drive-through. Is that the correct one?
Yeah.
Right? And Joseph was there as it was your cousin, or was it your niece?
Sister, it's my wife's sister, actually.
Talk to the mic.
Yeah, it's my wife's sister.
His wife's sister. But that, I don't. So there's activists that are like professional activists, and then there are brothers that are activists, not as a professional, but actually working for our people. And Joseph has found a niche that I didn't really realize, and I gotta be honest with you. I didn't realize it was such an important niche until you invited me to come out and read to the kids. And so I came out to read to the young people, and I really didn't. I can't remember what school we were at. What school were we?
I think we were at Nicholson that day.
Okay, so Nicholson School, and I come to read to the children, and I'm like, these kids are gonna be like, man, if you don't get your butt up out of here, these. And it was one of the best experiences that I've had in a long time. The young people were attentive. They were welcoming. They were engaging. I got to hamming it up with the stories. And you know me, I feel like I'm a star. And then all of a sudden, the door opens, and this mascot comes in. And it's not the most high-tech mascot. I got to be honest with you. It's not. First of all, I applaud your swag, right? Just the thought of doing it. But I would have never thought that I'm talking about a dude with a straight up V-neck sweater with a tie, a big head, and his name is Mr. Dad, and the kids flipped. And I'm talking about, now, Auntie Neil, you got to understand, we represent Disney, Ringling, but we have every mascot, like the real Mickey, the real Minnie, the real everybody, right? Like real. I have never seen kids flip out that crazy for what I felt was like the most basic, and I don't mean this in a bad way. I am just telling you about the yearning of our children for Mr. Dad. They was hugging Mr. Dad. Mr. Dad, now I seen when we bring the mascots, they be getting popped, they be getting punched, they get right. But I thought of that. One of my driving motivation factors when we represent the circus and Disney on Ice is, you remember the Sesame Street where the guy walks past the kid? We know that too real to be an experience for black kids all the time. And so one of our missions was to make that experience real for them. So we never give people tickets way up in the sky. We want our children to be the ones that get picked to be in the games, etc. And here we do that for major arenas. And here you had done it in a school with a black man. Yeah, I don't know how to explain to y'all. Like, I didn't want to cry, because I don't cry. Men don't cry. However, I must tell you that I was spiritually moved watching, and then we went to so I expected it with the babies, but then we went to an older class. And even when we went to the older class, where the kids are supposed to be cracking, they all wanted a hug from Mr. Dad.
Yeah.
And I was like, this brother got something. And nobody is really talking about it. Well, the people that know, because I'm telling you, the people at the school were just, Mr. Williams, Mr. Williams, Mr. Williams, Mr. Williams, Mr. Williams. You know, he's the Don of the school. Don of the school. Right, I brought some snacks. I thought I was going to be the man. He brought Nike. Anyway, I say all that to say that we need to give our young brothers out here an opportunity. You know, I think of you and I think of Willie Preston, kind of in the same, like I was introduced to both of y'all in the same space. Willie has gone on to be now a state senator, right? He's senator-elect. But family man, yes. Right? All about his family. Didn't start with all the tools in the toolbox, but made a way and is now kind of a picture of the family man. Absolutely. And he got to stay black, but family man. Joe, I look at you. I see what you did. Like I saw, we know each other in passing, Absolutely. But when I saw your work and I saw the kids' response, the children's response, I was like, man, Ruthie, whatever they need, however we can be helpful, let's do it. And so now you got a big event coming up, October 17th, right? Which means, it's cracking if he here in October, because it means that the other one done already sold out, or it's almost sold out. So, Joe, tell me about what you got going on with the Mr. Dad's Fathers Club and this contest, because I might have to go ahead and get my game together. What's up? Talk to me.
Hey, absolutely. Well, first, Maze, man, I just want to say thank you so much for having me on today. I want to say that I'm grateful for you, for your wisdom, how you educate so many of us. And more than anything, I've never seen you waver when it comes to black folks. You have always been standing strong when we're talking about what's in it for black people.
Thank you.
When it comes to that, I appreciate you so much. To hear that story and to hear it again, I do this work so much to a lot of the times I don't even get a chance to acknowledge what we do because I'm always working. And to hear you kind of give me a summary and repeat that back to me of what that day was like, it means a whole lot, and it means so much to those children. Because we need our father role models. Mr. Dad is Mr. Dad, but he is that Mr. Dad. So a lot of these babies who may be missing that male role model or missing that father piece, Mr. Dad gonna light up any room he walk in because that's the type of energy we're bringing to these babies. We want to be there to support them. But for the event in particular, so we have a Dad's Joke competition coming out October 17th. Taking place at the Laugh Factory. I want to give a huge shout out.
Wait, the Laugh Factory?
The Laugh Factory.
Hold on. You got the Laugh Factory?
Yes, sir.
Dang, Charlie, look, I'm gonna tell y'all now. So look, we gonna see my brother, and it's gonna be national. So remember, it was here first. I'm gonna tell you like I tell all the people before they blow up. I just want tickets. I just don't. When you blow up, I ain't gonna call you be like, can I borrow some money? I just want tickets. When you come back to town, right? Because just want tickets. But go ahead.
You got them. I promise you got the tickets. And today, even for the Laugh Factory, for what we're about to have, we want to give away at least 2 tickets today too. So
that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So come on, talk to me. What's going on?
So it's pretty much a Dad's Jokes. It's just one example of how fathers add love and fun in their households.
We're taking the dad jokes from our living rooms to the stage. Fathers will compete for a chance to become the annual dad joke of the year. And fathers will go head to head, joke by joke, to see who has the best dad jokes. We thought this was just an amazing opportunity to not only host a fundraiser for our organization, and then this will be one of our first fundraisers, but we also took this opportunity to just celebrate our fathers. You know, have a good time. Dads can come out and make some good jokes. I know when I'm with my kids, I think of jokes all the time, and I'm like, man, so I might even come on stage. But we thought it would be a great idea to bring folks all together for a dad's joke competition. I want to give a huge shout out to Robert Edmonds, because he actually called me months ago right before my Father's March and say, Joe, man, I think we should do something with some dads and like a comedy show. And I'm like, hey, it sounds good, but I'm still working. But he called back and said, Joe, I really think we should do this. And I said, you know what? Let's do it. So I got to give a shout out to Robert, because he definitely had the idea behind a lot of this. So, but yeah, so that's what we're doing. We're doing a dad's joke. It's a fundraiser for the organization. I think the lowest a ticket is $50 to get in. You can sponsor the organization. So I won't say any names, but please, anybody who's watching.
Dr. Wilson, y'all better get on here. All y'all running for mayor, y'all better get y'all butts over there and support the kids. And you better go take. You better use these opportunities. Like, there's a very short window before I'm gonna stop telling y'all what y'all need to do, and y'all have to pay me for it. But if you are smart, if you was a candidate, you will have your narrow time over at the dad joke. How can you lose with that? How can you lose in a father space and you support the brother and it don't got to be commercial? Go ahead, talk to me.
Yeah, and look, most of all, you guys, we know how it is when you have our local nonprofits. We're a nonprofit organization, and our mission is to help get fathers active in their children's lives. So when you see a lot of fathers and they may not know how they can get involved in the school system or just get involved in their children's lives, we provide that space. We have fathers. We have judges come in. Judge David Kelly comes in numerous of times throughout the year. We have folks who come in, and all of our book reading, it's not regular books. We read books that's about the culture. We read books with folks who look like us in these books, and it's motivating our children to be great. So we're building that self-esteem, and we're building that confidence up so children can feel good about themselves. And of course, every time we read, we want to make sure we donate. So we always give our children Nike or Jordan socks, and then we get Mays again. He brings some nice snacks in.
Man, I'm not bringing nothing else. I'm waiting for you. I was like, Ruthie, get us some good snacks. She was like, we getting the good ones. We went and got the good. Look, and the kids was like, kids will tell you, no, I want that color. No, I'll take Rice Krispie treats. Oh no, I'll take the juicers. He came in with the Nike socks. And he don't give them one pair. He give them the 3 or the 6 pack.
Oh yeah, they get the bundle.
Like, you get a bundle of Nike. Like, I was thinking, like, well, I'd be bogus if I take some of these. I felt like he was like the Dr. Willie Wilson of the kids, right? The kids lined up and they was waiting for the socks, and I was like, ooh, you wonder if I could, I felt like the driver. Like, can I take a pair of socks? But nah, man. So, man, talk about some of the great people that have supported you, though.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we've received support from the Obama's Foundation just recently. We ran a summer program, and we didn't know that we would receive any funding, and Obama's Foundation came through and blessed us with a smaller grant to just help us continue to work throughout not just the summer, but with our youth, because this is our first time doing it. We ran a whole summer camp. I put this summer camp. I just knew that we had some children that were about to be turned around for the summer. I didn't want to see it happen. So in 2 days, I put an entire curriculum and program together for these children, took them in. We used our partners over like at White Castle with Darren Cotton, who supported us and gave us gift cards.
Shout out to Darren Cotton, man.
Oh, man, always.
Darren is always on the front line helping the brothers out. I can't even trip on him, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to White Castle too, man. Darren, why we ain't got no White Castle sponsorship up here? You tripping, man? All right.
So yeah, but Darren supported the event. Mr. Bailey over at Ogden Park, he said, Joe, we got a space for you. So everyone came together to make it work for our youth. And it turned out to be one of the best programs ever. Our youth got a chance to learn what their community looked like, what an alderman was. They went over to their district police station to meet the CAPS officers. Every time I told them, if you walk down this block, you're going to speak to somebody. Every time they walked down the block, they spoke. By day 2, the folks were speaking right back to them. So we were showing them how to be community engaged, but how to love on their people, how to love on their community. And I'll tell you, at the end of this camp, one of the children texted me and said, shout out to Mr. Williams. This is one of the best summer camp out of all of my years that I've ever came to. And I hope to come back next year. This young man is 19 years old. So it shows the impact that we're making. But even listening to your story, I think it's so instrumental that folks see, because you might see it on TV, you might hear about it. But when you come in and you get that experience to actually see the difference it makes with these babies, our children need us. And more than anything, they need black men in front of them. They need positive black men. We need our doctors, our judges. We need our Mays Jackson, so our children can see this, because I'm a strong believer in you can't be what you can't see. So I encourage more fathers to sign up and volunteer. It only take you 30 minutes out your day. Volunteer and get involved with our organization. And more than anything, man, we just want y'all to tap in. But thank you to so many of our partners, because they keep us coming out. This year we partnered with WBGX Chicago Sky. They gave us tickets multiple times to get families out. White Sox gave us tickets. White Sox honored us this year. I'm born, first of all.
You throw a pitch?
I didn't throw the pitch. I did throw the pitch, but I got on the field. I met the Hall of Famer, and they gave me 2 round trips to go anywhere around the world. And I thought that was super cool. And they recognized us on the board. So they had Mr. Dad's Father's Club on the board with my name on the board. And just to be honest, I'm born and raised in it was called the low end, but Bronzeville. I'm born and raised down this way. And to be able to come back and go to the White Sox Stadium, man, that was so dope. Like, I could never imagine myself coming from where I come from to be there right there in that place.
So imagine what it meant for the children who live right there in that area to be able to do it, because you couldn't imagine it when you was a young person and got all the way to an adult. Imagine when you put that on them at an early age and they know. Joe, I got to tell you, man, tell the people one more time how they can get tickets and how they can join to the dad jokes. Because, hey, man, one of these days you're going to have like the preliminary contest at Obsidian. Right, so we're gonna have our, because we got our own little space for the black men's and women's. Okay. So let's have that. We want to host one of those too, and an event. So look, it's the Mays Jackson Show. I got Joe Williams, Mr. Dad's Father's Club. He's got a big event on October 17th. It's the Best Dad's Joke Contest. Tell them how they can find out more information and how they can get tickets.
Yes, you guys can follow us on all social media platforms. Facebook and Instagram in particular. If you go to Facebook and Instagram, you will see Dad's Jokes. It's going to be a big red flyer, and click on that link and it'll take you straight to Event On There, and you'll be able to get on there and purchase tickets. And I really encourage you guys, come out, show support. This is our first fundraiser. If you want to continue to see this work happening, buy you a $50 ticket. If you come, don't come, give it to a friend. But we need the support, we need the sponsorship, and we need you more than anything. So continue to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Mr. Dad's Father's Club. And look, we just appreciate all the love and support. And thank you so much again, Mace, for having me out this morning.
There it is. Look, and we're going to have a ticket giveaway. But let's do the ticket giveaway a little closer to it so we can keep the buzz alive. Okay? So I have Ruthie reach out to you to get a pair of tickets to give away for our listeners. Look, y'all, this is the Mays Jackson Show. My man Joseph Williams, he's from Mr. Dad's Father's Club. Y'all check them out. You support them wherever you can. I'm the host, Mays Jackson. Joe, I want to tell you thank you for coming. Reis, I want you to are you doing traffic and weather? All right, so do traffic and weather. I'm going to run to the room, and then I want to come back to video. All right? It's the Mays. So do your traffic, weather, put your music and stuff on, do your traffic and weather, and when I come back in here, be ready to flip. All right, man, this is the Mays Jackson Show. Joseph Williams, Mr. Dad's Father's Club on the Mays Jackson Show. And we'll have him back on a little closer to the time. October 17th, though. Get your tickets now. It's at The Laugh Factory, where you're moving on up. Hey, y'all, it's the Mays Jackson Show. We'll be back.
The Mays Jackson Show. We'll be back after this break. Mays Jackson.
Tune in to the Mays Jackson Show every day, Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 a.m., where you can catch us on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook Live. Plus, from 6:30 to 8, you can get us on WBGX 1570 a.m. That's right, it's the Mays Jackson Show, where every single day we ask the question, what's in it for the black people? And if you don't like it, you can still tell them. Mays said, we out of here. Peace.
Mays Jackson.
Caller, you on the Mays Jackson Show? What's up?
Hi, this is Katie. How are you?
Hey! Okay, hold on. I'm going to make an official nomination right now that we make Katie
the new president of the phone club. Riis, can I get a second from you, man?
I second it.
All right, it's been moved and properly seconded. Everybody tuned in on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. If you vote that Katie should be the new president of the phone club, please signify by saying aye. The ayes have it. Congratulations, you are now the new president of the phone club. Katie from Ashburn.
We did it. We did it. You're going to be the next president.
How you doing, boss lady?
Fine. Thank you. I accept that nomination. Thank you.
All right. You got drafted.
Maze Jackson.
It's the Maze Jackson Show, where every single day we ask the question, what's in it for the black people? And if you don't like it, you can still tell them. Maze said, we out of here. Peace.
And now, traffic and weather.
Move your body, don't nobody party like your body, pardon me, but I'm through. I got eyes on something that ain't you. I done seen how you move and heard about what you do. So I don't want no.
Good morning. What's in it for the Black People Media family? The time is now 8:36 a.m. I'm Riis the Ruler with your Chicagoland area traffic and weather report. As we head over now to the Kennedy, O'Hare to the Loop is locked in at an hour and 20. Outbound to O'Hare will be 48 minutes. On the Edens from Deerfield to the Exchange, the hour is 6 minutes. Exchange to Deerfield will be an hour. On the Eisenhower, Thorndale to the Loop is an hour and 16 minutes. Back out to Thorndale will be 45 minutes. The Stevenson from I-355 to the Dan Ryan will be an hour and 10 minutes. Outbound is 35. Wow. The Bishop Ford is I-80 to the Dan Ryan, 45 minutes, 35 minutes to I-80. The Dan Ryan is 24 minutes to the Loop, 12 minutes to 95th. On DuSable Drive South, 55th to Jackson will be 17 minutes. Jackson to 55th will be 8. On the north side, Randolph to Bryn Mawr, 8 minutes, but Bryn Mawr to Randolph will be 20. Today's weather, it is currently 68, but mostly sunny. Today will be a high of 88 now with a low of 63. I'm Riis the Ruler. Happy Tuesday. It's the Maze Jackson Show.
Even if I did your gender, we ain't in sync. Be original, don't follow the crowd. Dope fiend, lean, smelling like that loud. I'm looking at your friends and they
Black politics in Chicago. How important is black politics in Chicago?
Well, it is Chicago, and the pros and cons here in this particular issue of Gus Savage being challenged by Mel Reynolds. I think the whole nation would miss the point if they didn't understand the resentment against people who do not live in the community trying to punish a long-time veteran civil rights activist such as Gus Savage. Gus Savage is considered irascible, extremely outspoken, but he has produced and stood tall for his people, and I think he may represent a deeper resentment of the masses when he objects to people trying to finance his expulsion from Congress. When I say people trying to finance it, I mean people who have a single issue concept of politics.
What about this matter of Jews, right? All this stuff, you know?
Well, it's no secret that a group called AIPAC, AIPAC, the American Israeli Political Action Committee, is putting up most of the money for his opponent, Mel Reynolds. And Gus is known to have voted and made several statements critical of Jewish activity in South Africa, and he also objects to spending money on foreign housing when he has housing in his own district that's boarded up. And he's a very volatile speaker, and in many ways, this is what has made him very popular with a segment of black society who may be disenchanted with the silence of black leaders, generally.
Why are they so silent? Why have black leaders become so non-confrontational?
Well, black leaders have been a bit too silent, a little too coy, a little too cautious for large numbers of people, and when you have a man like Gus who will take a strong stand and apparently is not afraid to challenge even the most obstinate of white people, the large numbers of black people like it. Let's face it. This may be very difficult for people who don't understand the climate out here, but it's a fact. They want somebody that they feel will stand up in their behalf, regardless of how much he irritates segments of the white community.
And to what degree does the political climate here in Chicago reflect the rest of the nation?
That I don't know. Okay. I am a...
Okay, two questions. Great Hayes rush race and the
they see a similar situation there, too. Here's Charles Hayes that cannot be accused of being volatile. He's a very calm,
Bobby Rush was Daley's candidate.
Civil rights
so
leader,
we're clear.
Long time in the labor movement, has a high attendance record, and like Gus Savage, all of the independent, progressive organizations have rated them, their voting records very high. But they're trying to knock him off too. And the reason they feel, black people feel that they're trying to get rid of Charlie Hayes is because he is in the way of plans to redevelop the near south side of Chicago.
Bronzeville.
Which is on the lakefront. A part of his district is on the lakefront. And there's a feeling that there are land developers who want to grab that land and gentrify it and move black people out.
It happened.
And make it the home for many of the whites from the suburbs who left because of black people coming into their communities.
It happened.
I think the Hayes candidacy gives the lie to those who say that the reason we want to get rid of Gus Savage is because he's loud and vociferous. Hayes is just the opposite, and yet there is opposition to him too. And he's a veteran legislator with an
It don't matter if you're a quiet Negro or a loud one.
Has it had an effect on black politics in Chicago?
It will have when the message sinks in that black people are being cut short of the number of wards that they should have in terms of higher representation than whites. Blacks are now the single largest ethnic group in the city of Chicago, but they don't have the most seats in the city council. And this new map would give them as many seats as whites have. And that's the difference in the two maps.
It's on us. It's an internal thing. It's an internal issue with people, and it's not just black people or Hispanics or white. We allow them not to be. We accept it. We don't seek political and human excellence from our representatives, and we don't get it.
What do you think about like the presidential candidates who come marching in and going to these churches and doing all of this stuff? Does this impress you? Does this not impress you?
When you say impress, impress can be negative or positive.
Okay, if there's an impression, which one is it?
The impression is, and I understand why they do it, and I know that the presidential candidates have to do kind of a shotgun thing, that they can't put in a lot of time in any one place. And they've got to come into a place, make a dramatic, immediate impact, and get out. I know that's what they do. But even they, I look for that same level of seriousness, of commitment throughout their lives, not just during the presidential campaign. And again, I haven't seen it for many of them, for most of them.
Can I have your name, please?
My name is Philip Jackson.
Okay, Philip. My name is Andrew Jones.
Good.
She went to high. That's Charlotte's daughter. She went to.
And we sweep it under the rug. Then Charlie, you keep talking like that, I'm gonna come on over there.
I am? Okay. Essentially, what we're talking about is the right of African American people to select its own leadership. Congressman Savage has been targeted by special interest groups, particularly AIPAC, the Israeli lobby, in relationship to his raising the contradiction of U.S. foreign policy relative to Israel and its position towards Africa. This is the bottom line. Heretofore, prior to the emergence of the number of African-American congressmen that exist now, there was an organization called the Black American Support Committee for Israel. Every black congressman who was elected automatically joined that group to guarantee that they would get financing from the Israeli PACs. Congressman Savage was the first congressman elected in this new era of electoral politics and black people in this country to break that and absolutely stand up and challenge that kind of hegemony over African American congressional representatives that send a boomerang effect in terms of their particular interests in the United States and the particular way they go about their business. This is filtered down in Chicago to not only the Gus Savage, Mel Reynolds campaign, but also Alderman Bobby Rush, the ex-Black Panther, who now has decided to join forces with the Daley regime, some of the same money to defeat Congressman Hayes. We must understand that our position in America, the condition of African people in America, cannot be equated with the condition of anyone else. The last hired, the first fired. So seniority in Congress is very important to us. And for people to say that Congressman Hayes is too old, that's asinine when you got white men who've been sitting there on top of money for years and years and years, not doing anything, not delivering anything to their constituency. So as a younger activist, I must say that we are in a position right now to say to the world and to say to the white people and other interest groups that want to determine our leadership that we're not going to let this happen. It's a question of self-determination. It's a question of African people in America deciding their own destiny. I went to the hospital the night before last as a representative of my organization to witness what allegedly happened with Mel Reynolds. And if Mel Reynolds was actually shot by somebody, then I'm nuts. As someone who's been in the military, it was obvious that this was a setup. It was obvious that it was orchestration. It was obvious that Mayor Daley's forces were involved. His chief operative, Ruthie was president, and many of the people from Mayor Daley's office were present that night at the hospital. So we cannot be fooled by these. This is a tactic of desperation. This is a desperation attempt to put out of Congress one of the most vocal and leading black independent politicians left in the United States who came out of the late 1940s, emerged in the 1950s, stayed on the case in the 1960s when it was not popular in this city to go against the machine. A man that single-handedly made the Emmett Till case famous throughout America through his journalism. So Mel Reynolds, he's got to go. Well, people like that, we should run them back to the Kennedy family in Boston, let them work there or in other places where they can just leave our community alone, because Mel Reynolds is actually an enemy of the development of African-American political empowerment.
How has it affected the Savage-Reynolds race redistricting? How has it affected Gus
Williams race, for an example? Or they've not really been given enough information to make intelligent decisions on the map, and they will be guessing as to what it is that they're doing.
Do you think like the redistricting has diluted the black vote?
Yes, it has. It has truly diluted the black vote, because just to use Paul Williams' race, Representative Williams' race for an example, if the people in the 3rd Ward and the 16th Ward really don't come out to vote for him, the people in the 14th Ward and the 23rd Ward, we could just lose Representative Paul Williams and we can have another legislator.
Paul's a lobbyist now.
How has it affected the Savage-Reynolds race redistricting? How's it affected Gus Savage's congressional district, do you know?
Well, Gus has lost a lot of his base in the city, but Gus is Gus, and I think he's going to pick up a lot in the suburbs.
This is Mary Flowers, just in case y'all don't remember. The one who punched me.
Put it on her.
Congressman requested this, and we want you to join in, those that know. Because God is good. And put your hands together with that. Well, God has smiled.
Riis, it's the Mace Jackson Show. Riis, you look at the videos. You listen to the words. And then I reflect. I think it's pretty, it jumps out to me though, the Vernon Jarrett component Remember when he said, we are now overwhelmingly the largest minority ethnic group in the city of Chicago. The fact of the matter was, we was more. We was the most. Then the fight was for 26 wards. They used the map to systematically cut us up, chop us up, and if you listen to it, and if you look at the images and you look at some of our, it is the legacy of blackness. Think about the fact that Bobby Rush, and Black Panther in our minds, sided with the Dailies, who were responsible. Remember Ed Hammerhand? They were responsible for the murder of Bobby Steele. Of Fred Hampton. Now imagine, Riis, you show back up to the deck with the people who killed the chief. Some might say that was part of the deal. I'm not going there. But what I'm saying, the thing that I have come to recognize, and it's really, like, I've had so many epiphanies in the last couple of weeks. Riis, you know how I'm fighting for saying it's our turn and black people's turn? I was looking at Roberto Sepulveda's post the other day. And at first I was a little bit disconcerted. I was a little offended because it was like, it's our time now. But the reality is, Riis, that it just might be. The reality is, Riis, that for all of my rantings and ravings and screaming what's in it for the black people, as the philosophers say, there's nothing new under the sun. And I think about my opinions of Dr. Conrad Worrell, because I saw him go to 70 plus. I think about how people have, as history dies, then people can reinvent themselves. I think about Bobby Rush almost being a victim of the same people that he let in and our people's loyalty. Think about this. So Bobby Rush took out Charlie Hayes for Daley, who killed or let the charge happen to kill Fred Hampton. Bobby Rush becomes alderman, committeeman, congressman, undefeatable for the last 24 years. And what was the outcome for the district? When you talk about playing the long, and I want y'all to understand, it's the same mentality that's going to play us on the Willie Wilson thing, which is the hyper-educated Negroes connected to white folks who have demonstrated consistently that they are with the white folks are going to tell us about the black man who consistently demonstrates he's with us. So I got to ask Riis, what am I fighting for? This reminds me of, I told you about going on vacation. Do you ever remember going somewhere, putting it off? Y'all, do you understand that the daily era was our birthright? Let's be clear. From daily, first daily, Michael Bilandic, Jane Byrne, Harold Washington. What is that? Harold Washington, Eugene Sawyer, sow black discord, steal their birthright, run with their birthright until for 20 years, step out, and guess what? That 20-year daily reign was your reign. But they gave you Tim Evans. They gave you Bobby Rush. They took your heroes, co-opted your heroes, and turned them against you. And when you looked up and woke up, you was in bondage. Now, as your turn finally runs its course, you now are playing catch up, but the game has surpassed you. Because guess what? While you was busy fighting each other, trying to be lieutenants in the daily army, you were supposed to be the king. But your operatives, your dukes and duchesses and all the people that should have built us to be king decided that they'd rather be on the daily team. No shade, that's what it was. And you look at this whole entire infrastructure that now exists, that is ours, that is built by people whose reward was keeping us divided and convincing us that that was in our best interest. To tell us that we as Negroes weren't smart enough to govern ourselves, and now we find ourselves in the hands, taking direction from the people who really led the dismantling of our term. Like, I gotta be honest with you. And I gotta go back to credit Mark and Paul for pulling out the newspaper and showing me, did you know, Riis, that there was a time when the Blackstones, the Vice Lords, every black gang got together and went downtown and marched. Every black street organization marched and shut down the city until we got contracts. And guess what? In that process of fighting for all of us, when we had unity, we had our own black people working to bust that up. And now all of those people are dancing on the stage as entertainment, not in power, but as tools of continued disruption, of continued disunity. So again, I gotta look up and I gotta ask myself, did we miss our turn? And am I fighting backwards for something that we should have been already had, and now it's like you missed your moment? I said I wasn't gonna holler. We missed our moment. So let me break this down for you. Because did you see, this is why it's so important. So understand that in the moment, the educated Negroes, Riis, can I tell y'all, the educated Negroes chose Mel Reynolds. Let me say that again. The educated black people chose Mel Reynolds over someone that demonstrated time and time again that he was for them. Riis, can I tell you, I was probably with Mel Reynolds. Because I was like, these old Negroes don't... But it was the old Negroes teaching the new Negroes how to be slaves. or teaching us or hiding it in front of us and telling us that that's the bad guy. And so when you listen to your parents telling you that the person, because your parents have been brought up as successful slaves, they got the shiny buttons. And they say you too can have shiny buttons. Instead of you too can be free. And if they gonna hold all the shiny buttons to ration them out to you, because they talking you out of fighting for your own freedom. For the shiny Rhodes Scholar. For the Black Panther. Look at how they use two different people. They used the Black Panther against the quiet black man, who the Black Panther was working for the daily. For the vociferous black man who was fighting for you, who they moved him to the suburbs, the educated suburban Negroes was like, we want a Rhodes Scholar. We done made it to Homewood Flossmoor. And we ain't had a warrior since. Whether quiet or strong. Name me the last Illinois black politician that can stand on it. I think it is watching these videos in real time when you recognize, like I look at Dr. Worrell, right? I don't remember him that way. I remember finally being convinced that it was no point in being a fighter, a warrior. Like no shade. He is definitely a warrior. No shade at all. But it's crazy when you come to the realization that our time, it's not our turn. It's like when we had the hammer, when we had the power, we didn't wield it. And now we mad because Mexican Independence Day, when they got it, they wielded theirs. Amen. I don't know that the fight is for a black man anymore. I think we squandered our chance. And in the event that we had another chance at it, can I be honest with you? The same educated black people would talk us out of our birthright again. The same educated black people would tell you that they would go with somebody white before they would go give their brother a chance. And so many times it's crazy, Riis, because look at who we gave a chance to. Right? Like, how do you go wrong giving a chance to a Rhodes Scholar? He's a pedophile. How do you go wrong giving a chance to a Black Panther? He's working for Daily. And so when I think about my black choices and my black options, when I think about people telling me who we should and we shouldn't support, is that based on black people or is it based on you? Because I got a sneaking suspicion, as always, that don't nobody black really want a black man in charge. Because if it's a black man in charge, where do I fit? See, I think that we have been, what Ruthie say, she'll rather break it before you have it. They'll rather break it and let us struggle because they can withstand all of that, right? Like, When you're rich, you can go make friends with all the white people. You can go make friends with whoever when you're rich. So do you operate in your best interest, or do you operate in the best interest of the black people? And then tell the black people you are their best interest, so that we are forced to bow down to you. And I look around and I say, Rich, I hope that the campaign finance records are around, because I want to see who are the black people that we know that financed our demise. Like, you think about it. When somebody told you to get rid of Gus Savage or Charlie Hayes that was black, who had tangible outcomes, I'm going to ask you, tell me what were the tangible outcomes since then? Bobby Rush, Robin Kelly. You see what they just did to Robin Kelly? Sometimes, y'all, it's just difficult doing this. And I gotta tell you, one of the most disheartening epiphanies that I have come to is that, real talk, it's really not our turn. It's really not. Like, you went from fighting for 26 wards to a majority to now you are fighting for 14 or 15, talking about it's our turn. No, Femo, you fought through your turn. Through your turn, Daley's era was your turn. They was just living in your house during the time, keeping you confused. And now they rich. And guess what? We talking about we mad at the Latinos. No, be mad at yourself. Be mad at the people who convinced us for the last 20 years that our best interests were tied to someone else's fate beyond our own. And then you got to look at who won during that time and who lost. So if we went from the largest, let me help you understand. Chicago used to be the capital of black millionaires in the world. It used to have the largest concentration of black millionaires in the world. Now we don't have that. So why is it, and who stayed and who left? All right, y'all. This is the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. My man DJ Riis, the rule on the ones and twos. Every single day we ask the question, what's in it for the black people? And if you don't like it, you can still tell them. Oh, my bad, Riis, you got anything you want to say to the peoples?
No, I just love listening to it, like a repeat, like how you play stuff and we still here today. No, I'm good.
Well, ain't these videos crazy, though?
It's like the same thing we still talking about.
Like Riis. And they's like, Maze, you got to keep doing the show.
And they low-key would look like they was better off than us.
They were. Riis, they were. Riis, this is when black people had budgets. Like, they wasn't scared. Remember, you see all these black people? You ain't heard no person of color. None. Now, all you hear is black and brown. Black person can't say black without saying brown. Look at the evolution. And y'all tell me to keep doing this, but at 4 o'clock in the morning, I knew Dr. World when he was gray hair. He talked about he was a young activist then. He's passed. And we talk about the park. And I loved that, but gosh darn it. It took a Jewish mayor to get him the park. When we had we could have had the power, but we could have had the power and put our own damn track down. We convinced ourselves that it would be better to be servant to somebody else. And then, this is why y'all will not have me. You will not have me hollering and screaming every morning for the same thing that people was hollering and screaming for 30, 40 years ago. these videos are just like, does it end with submission? Like does it end with submission? Like, is it that you finally just, to get what you want, you finally just got to succumb to the white people? Is it better to just be on the team than to own the team? I'll be honest with you, we've been convinced that ownership is not... we've been convinced to stay out of ownership. Y'all don't need to worry about ownership. Just be on the team. I think about Dr. World talking about that the reason that he became an activist was because he wanted to see an indoor track facility in Chicago. He got it. He did. Man, I hope that it does not take that long for us to answer what's in it for the black people. Look, y'all, respect to our fallen heroes. Respect to the people who what is it about us that we want to breed the fight out of us? Why do we champion everyone else's warriors and breed the fight out of the black men? I cannot tell you I really can't think of a black man in power that has encouraged me to keep fighting. Now, the brothers on the streets, the guys that don't have a voice, you know when they was talking about old Gus again, and he was like, and Vernon Jarrett was saying, like, black people like somebody that may say things that's not going to be popular to everybody else. And then but it's what they feel. And then you got to think about the people that tell you, don't be around here talking around these black people. It is amazing to me that the path to winning for black people is to deceive your people. Is to lead them to somewhere else instead of our own. The win is to show that you can stop us from fighting. Riis, we was fighting for 26 wards back then. We fighting for 14. Talking about we won. Talking about we won. These videos are harsh because I know these people. These videos are harsh because you can see the outcome, right? Like, I can't see my outcome. But do you understand that, like, I've seen these people, they died. How many with a broken heart for their people? Did we miss our turn? Were we so busy trying to be on Team Daily, Team Ram, that we didn't understand that that was our birthright that they were living in, that they were living in our house? Have we been so used to being in the house that we could never envision it as our own? Shoot, we all got our own space heaters. Some of us got our big room, maybe even got a coach house. We missed our turn. It's the Maze Jackson Show, y'all. I am the host where every single day we ask the question, what's in it for the black people? And if you don't like it, you can still tell them. Maze said, we out of here. Peace.
Let's get down to business and go ahead and address the facts, man. Lightfoot seems more lesbian than black. Rahm Emanuel's another case. He was just as tired. 50 closed schools left much to be desired. Police had internet naked on that body cam. They suppressed the footage so it couldn't touch a lot of hands. Reminds me of that 16 shots in that cover-up. Both of them similar, so I went and dug it up. George Floyd killed, a lot of riots happening in the town. Southside burned and they wouldn't let them bridges down. Grandmother sick, need a prescription and plus a couple groceries. You gon' have to travel just to get it now. COVID-19 out here shutting all the business down. Not enough SBA loans to even give around. So many failed businesses that you could put them in the pile. If you don't survive the pandemic, it's gon' sit you down. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods.